We are just moments away from action in Palo Alto. You see the Arizona team getting ready to go there. Both these.
Miss those days.
Do you?
Miss those days.
What are you guys
Game
saying
day.
in those huddles?
You don't want to know.
Yeah.
We can't say it right now.
Well, let's not say it. But what I do want to hear you both say is, what do you think is going to happen tonight? Stanford looking to just wash away the memories of that Washington game. What's their mindset?
Well, they have to rely on Stephon Taylor. I mean, 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, excuse me, against USC, he goes for 150. Last week, only 75 yards. If he breaks 100 yards today, it means they're controlling the clock, which means they control the tempo, which means they win the football game.
Right, and for Arizona's, make Josh Nunez beat you. He hasn't proven all season long that he can beat you with his arm, making plays downfield, and getting their offensive receivers out on the edge in space. I like Stanford to win this one, though.
Stanford.
Stanford, both of them.
Stanford.
All right, let's waste no more time. Let's get to the guys calling the action. Let's send it out to Palo Alto. Craig, Joel, Petrus, take it away.
And thank you, Aaron. It's a homecoming weekend, and the Wildcats of Arizona have come to Stanford to play the 18th-ranked Cardinal here on Fox College Football. Craig Bowerjack along with Joel Klatt. So glad you're with us. Doubleheader day here on Fox, and we start with Arizona and Stanford. These are two teams, Joel, with two completely different styles of offense.
For Stanford, it's all about power. One of the biggest offensive lines in all of college football. And they're going to lean on that run game. There's no secret about it. David Shaw wants to play power football in order to erase the memory of that loss to Washington 10 days ago. For Arizona, it's all about playing with great speed and great tempo. Arizona snaps the ball 88 times per game. That's second in the country. In order to do that, you got to have great quarterback play. They've gotten good quarterback play from Matt Scott. He's going to have to play his best game of the season today if they want to upset Stanford on the road.
Yes, Arizona hopes to spoil homecoming for the Stanford Cardinal. Pac-12 football next on Fox College Football.
Go Stanford!
Welcome back, Stanford Stadium. They expect 50,000 on hand today for homecoming Arizona against the Stanford Cardinal. Petros Papadakis is our sideline insider, and Petros, Stanford's run defense, one of the best in college football.
Yeah, the Stanford football team, Bowler, has always been predicated on toughness in this new Jim Harbaugh, David Shaw era. But they've never been led by the defense. This year they are. David Shaw admitted this is probably the best Stanford defense of all time. Shane Scove, Chase Thomas, very good linebackers, great against the run. But how will they react to their first Pac-12 spread-out team? We're about to find out.
Petros will check in with you throughout the afternoon. Arizona's head coach, there he is, Rich Rodriguez, hired back in November, replacing Mike Stoops, and of course bringing his high-tempo offense to the desert. His counterpart today will be David Shaw, second year running the Stanford program, and is the reigning Pac-12 Coach of the Year. Both these teams coming off losses. Stanford losing to Washington 17-13. They were held, Joel, without an offensive touchdown. Arizona lost a 38-35 duel in the desert against Oregon State. And Oregon State, one of the big stories in Pac-12 football right now.
Arizona has been in every game they played except for that blowout in Eugene against Oregon. I fully expect them to be in this game early. I think they may need a few turnovers early in this ball game to get some momentum going defensively.
Stanford won the toss. They chose to receive. Homecoming is underway here in Stanford. And we've got a flag flying on that kickoff, so it's out of bounds.
Kickoff out of bounds. Kicking team. Receiving team elects to have the ball put in play at the 35-yard line. First down.
That's our referee today, Jack Wood, and today's Taco Bell impact players.
Stephon Taylor, the running back for Stanford, Pac-12 Player of the Week a couple weeks ago against USC. He's a terrific back. Chase Thomas, their All-American captain on defense. He's the guy that's going to be flying around, getting after quarterback Matt Scott when Arizona has the ball.
So after that kick goes out of bounds, Stanford has the football with fine field position at the 35-yard line.
Going to see this a lot today, the shifting. Offensive line going from the right side to the left side. Unique formations for Stanford offensively.
Josh Nunez, number 6, out of Upland, California, junior under center. He's going to pitch it out to Stephon Taylor. Breaks one tackle and another. It picks up 8 hard yards up to the 44-yard line. And let's take a look at today's Taco Bell impact players for Arizona.
Kadeem Carey on offense, 5.5 yards per carry, one of the most underrated players in this conference. And then Jermaine Bondurant, 7.5 tackles for loss, constantly behind the line of scrimmage in the opposing backfield. He's a guy that's going to have to play big today against Stanford, who runs the ball so well.
Stanford only rushed for 65 yards against the Huskies. Their longest rush was 7. They just eclipsed that by nearly 2 yards on that first toss to Stephon Taylor. Delay. Taylor. Little stutter step. First down by about a half a yard. They'll mark him down at the 46-yard line.
It's going to be so key for Arizona to tackle well. You can already see the elusiveness of Stephon Taylor. He's a guy who isn't so flashy, but you got to get hats to the ball carrier. Wrap him up, get him down to the ground. It's going to be a huge key for Arizona to stop this powerful team.
One thing to watch, the front line of Stanford. They weigh in nearly 300 pounds per man, and they can move a pile. On first down at the 46. In motion, Terrell. So far, it's been a Taylor show. And this time, Arizona spreads the field and will drop Taylor for a yard loss back to the 45. And he was knocked down by Bondurant. Very active, plays the spur position. He's all over the field. In fact, already 7.5 tackles for loss this season.
Last year, got the Arizona Coaches Newcomer of the Year award, was a freshman All-American, all-freshman second team, in this country. And he's a guy who's very athletic. You saw it on that play, getting blocked and yet also gets the tackle at the same time.
Taylor alongside Nunez. Shoot up nearly 2 minutes on this opening drive. Second down, 11. Nunez goes in the air over the top, threads the needle. That ball is out, incomplete. Toyolo, the tight end, and we'll see a lot of the tight ends today, along with Zach Ertz, one of the finest receiving tight ends in the country.
I love the coverage from Jake Fisher, number 33. See how he's on that inside hip, forcing the ball to go over him, but the problem is there's a safety there. Predicament for the quarterback. Great coverage from Jake Fisher down the field on one of the very elusive and solid tight ends that Stanford has, Levine Toilolo.
You like the linebackers for Arizona, Flowers, Fisher, and Sir Thomas Jackson, a walk-on redshirt freshman. Very active in this 3-3-5 defense of Jeff Castile. Nunez runs, steps up in the pocket, has room to run at the 50, 45, and a first down for Stanford at the Arizona 42-yard line. Now, we saw that plenty last year with a man named Andrew Luck. Nunez not known for his ability to run, but this time, nice job out of the pocket.
Yep. I love first that he had his eyes downfield, and then he got himself into a position to run 13 yards for that first down. They told us that Andrew Luck last year, when they would go back and watch tape, would run for about 4 first downs a game. That's something that they've been missing this year. Josh Nunez already in this game with his first rush for a first down.
On the eye formation, Taylor gets the carry. Nice hold off the right side. And he'll push his way past the 40 to the 39. He followed the block of his fullback, Ryan Hewitt. In Stanford, that run game was one thing that David Shaw told us we have to reestablish.
It's very interesting. I mean, they really do have one of the more sophisticated run games in all of college football, and they're great at it. And those runs that you see guys going for 3 or 4 yards in the first quarter, what they want, leaning on the defense, is to bust those for about 11 and 12 yards in the third and fourth quarter.
The run game continues. A one cutback and a spin by Taylor. What looked to be no gain. Picks up 3 yards to the 35-yard line. So important, Joel, to have a running back that can pick up yards after contact.
And Taylor does that with great forward lean. Now he puts them in a situation where it's third down and short, and you can do anything you want. You can get in a big formation if you're Stanford here and turn around and hand the ball off. So a critical third down opportunity, but the entire playbook at their disposal. They decide to spread things out here.
Already 7 plays, 30 yards in the books. Third down and short. Shotgun. Nunes will delay it. Taylor breaks the tackle. 30 at the 20. Trying to stiff arm his way. And Arizona, that screen defense, having to play a little catch up to chase down Stephon Taylor. That's a gain of 14.
Look at Wilkes come around, and he's going to pull out in front of this run. The mobility of some of these big guys is really amazing, and Wilkes gets the initial block at the line of scrimmage, which is going to bounce Taylor to the outside in order for the conversion and a first down.
Taylor is on this opening drive. Look at the carry again. He's going right, he's going left. And this time past the 20 to the 18-yard line. Grandin, the free safety, makes the initial hit for Arizona.
Petros, it seems like they're trying to establish this run game early, like they do every week, but after a loss especially.
Well, they weren't able to really run the ball well against Washington. You guys have talked about that. That's who they are. That's their bread and butter. And if they can run the ball without Nunes completing a pass, they'll take it. They'll milk that clock and keep Matt Scott on the sideline.
Two wide receivers set, Terrell and Montgomery. And that I formation, Nunes under center. Three-step drop, fires it to the far side, and on the money, Ty Montgomery grabs his 16th catch of the season. Shaquille Richardson, the left corner, knocked him away out of bounds.
I love what Pep Hamilton did right there, the play caller for Stanford, and the Andrew Luck director of offense, not the offensive coordinator, the Andrew Luck director of offense. He got an easy throw there. Petros, you just alluded to the fact they hadn't completed a pass on this series yet. They tried down the middle to Toilolo. Now they get the easy completion on the outside of Montgomery, and now Josh Nunes has a chance to settle into this ball game.
Montgomery needs to settle in too.
They have put Zach Ertz on the field. They run that double tight set, sometimes three at a time. The play action, setting his feet, Nunes up top. Touchdown, Ertz. Second touchdown reception of the season. Ertz just came in. He's especially kind of tight end. He's 6'6", 252, and he out-jumped Arizona in the end zone.
I thought Nunes actually made a bad read because Ertz was open early out of the backfield on the wheel route, threw it late, got away with it because Ertz is 6'6".
Extra point. Up and good. Jordan Williamson. Now 12-13. The celebration on early. Homecoming at Stanford. Ertz puts Stanford up by 7. Welcome to Fox College Football, presented by Geico. 11 plays, 65 yards, 5 minutes and 32 seconds off the clock, and that 11-yard touchdown to Ertz. Taylor, by the way, on that drive, it was all about the run game until they got inside the red zone. 7 carries, Joel, for 35 yards.
That offensive line already establishing themselves. And how about Zach Ertz? When he catches a touchdown pass, Stanford is 9-1. So already a good omen for the Cardinals.
Williamson punches that ball deep. Out of the end zone, no opportunity for a return for Arizona. And let's check out today's Dodge Ram keys to victory.
For Arizona, I would start with the fact they've got to force turnovers. That's the way that they got themselves into the game against Oklahoma State when they pulled off the upset earlier this year. They've got to do the same today. For Stanford, they've got to create deep threats. That was a common theme when we talked with the coaching staff. In order to get the defense off of their run game, Josh Nunes has got to go down the field. We've already seen him complete a couple of passes, one of them a touchdown to Zach Ertz.
Our first chance to see Matt Scott, a senior out of Corona, California. He's been battling with some hip and ankle injuries, moving well early as he tosses that ball to his fullback. That's Tatoji out of Chula Vista, California. He's out of the backfield, picks up his 6th reception. We got a Cardinal down at the 29.
While they attend to Terrence Brown, the cornerback, Tommy Tatogi got that ball in the flat, the fullback. Just went low there, got caught up in the feet of Tatogi. Huge player. He's 6'1", 260 pounds. Moves well, tries for the hurdle. That's when Brown gets locked up into the feet there of Tatogi.
He is the Stanford tackle leader, averaging 6 stops a game.
He had a big night against USC when they upset the Trojans. 1 interception, 2 PPUs. That's pass batted down. 7 tackles. Had 7 tackles again with 2 passes defended against Washington. So Stanford will hope to get their starting corner Terrence Brown back in this game. Don't always see the 260-pound man try to go up and over.
No, you notice.
I'm sure Terrence Brown was surprised by that move.
Yeah, he'd gotten in tackle position, and he did not expect the big fella to try to high hurdle him. We go back to action. As Arizona rumbles up the middle to the 35-yard line. Looks to be enough for a first down. Kadeem Carey. He averages 107 yards a game. And Joel, what really is impressive is his per carry average. 5.5 yards every time he touches a football.
I think it's a misconception when you talk fast tempo. You automatically think, well, they just throw it all the time. That's not the case. Arizona averages 194 yards a game on the ground, so they will stay committed to handing the football off.
Spread the field with 3 wide receivers. Quick hit far side. It's off the hands of Austin Hill, the slot back. And so on first down, Arizona comes up empty. This is the 6th-ranked offense in college football. 538 yards a game. Joel, you mentioned earlier, 88 plays a game. That's the average. And they average 31 first downs a game.
Those 31 first downs, best in the country. The 88 plays, second in the country to Marshall. So they know how to play up tempo for Rich Rodriguez.
And Scott on second down, ready from the side. Trying to thread the needle. Nice throw, but through the hands of Dan Buckner. Let's get our first game break of the day. And back to Los Angeles, here's Patrick O'Neill.
Greg, thank you. Penn State hosting 24th-ranked Northwestern. What a comeback for the Nittany Lions. Matt McGloin, the keeper. Penn State scored again. That's 22 unanswered. They lead big, 39-28
Penn
now.
State trying to rally back after that slow start. Here it's 7-0. Stanford. Scott took a hit, and he finds Daniel Jenkins right at midfield. But how about Scott? You're an old quarterback. He stood in there and took some punishment.
And he knew he was going to get hit. Chase Thomas, the All-American, barreling down on him. He just gets throttled right there in the pocket, but has the courage to stand in, Craig, and deliver the ball with accuracy to move the chains. That's an incredible throw from Matt Scott.
A gain of 17. Arizona's moving it. They're inside Stanford territory. Stumbling to about the 46 is Carey.
Matt Scott's not the biggest guy. He's only 196 pounds. Stands at 6'3". But he plays with a lot of courage. He will run it. He's been banged up. He's battled an ankle injury, like you said, a hip injury, like you had mentioned. Playing with tons of courage for the Wildcats.
5 wideouts. Quick throw. Near side. That ball was nearly intercepted. Barry Browning had that football. It came off the hands of the slot, Austin Hill.
Just came to him too late. You saw he was trying to go to the outside to make the tackle, and then all of a sudden the ball is on his hip, and Browning was unable to corral that one in, and now Arizona has got to find a conversion. Every time they've gone in this empty set with no running backs, Stanford has drawn up the pressure with Chase Thomas, number 44. He's in the middle of the screen.
For second in the Pac-12 on 3rd down conversion. They set up a hot slant, and it was led perfectly by Stanford at the 45-yard line. Browning came in and knocked down Buckner, the wide receiver, number 4, and they'll bring up 4th down.
Look at Henry Anderson, number 91, from his defensive tackle position. He rushes, realizes it's a screen. He gets no more pressure from the offensive line, drops himself back into the formation, and is able to make the tackle and force Arizona to kick the football. Good defensive stand from Stanford. Remember, this is a team that has struggled with the spread offense. 4 losses in the last 2.5 years, 3 of those to spread teams, Oklahoma State and then Oregon twice.
Dugancic will punt away. Nice high hanger. And a fair catch just inside the 15-yard line. There's the hit. Scott stood in there and took it. Stanford up by 7 on Arizona. Fox College Football is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Geico. Back at Stanford, Cardinal up by 7. Last time they had the football, Joel, 11 plays, 65 yards. Ground game was very effective. Taylor on that drive was 7 for 35 yards, but they capped it with a touchdown toss of 11 yards to Zach Ertz. Ricky Seal, number 30, in the backfield for Stanford. Seal takes the carry. The pads popping. He's driven out of bounds at the 16-yard line.
This is a series that I fully expect Stanford to take a shot down the field. Physical play in the middle. Here the pads popping from Arizona's defense. Nice job stringing that run out, but they've said they wanted to create deep threats this week, and this is the perfect opportunity. You're up 7-0, your defense has gotten a stop. Josh Nunez, this is a series I'd like to see him cut it loose down the field.
Stephon Taylor checks back in, number 33 in the backfield. Nunez stands the pocket, protection, up over the top. Oh, beautiful throw. Yes, the catch. At the 44-yard line, you cannot throw a better ball, and you cannot bring it down better than Terrell.
How about that ball? Far hash, and delivers a beautiful over-the-shoulder corner route all the way onto the boundary, and Terrell gets that foot into bounds. 28-yard completion for Nunez. That's the down-the-field threat that they needed to establish early in this game and get the safeties out of the run box. What a throw from Nunez.
You know, and he's had trouble with his passing over the last 2 games. Less than 50% completion rate. Nunez looks sharp here in the opening quarter for Stanford. Power eye. Taylor holds slow in a hurry to the 45-yard line. Pedro's interesting mix of run-pass for Stanford here early.
Absolutely. You know, through 5 games, I was shocked to see Stanford had a 50-50 run-pass percentage. Even with a great passer like Andrew Luck, they were a 60-40 run-pass team. Now they're concentrating more on the run in this game with Nunez throwing the ball pretty well in this second series.
Ertz struggling in the backfield. Now he lines up the block. He'll try to seal the corner. Dancing through traffic. Taylor picks up about 3 yards to midfield. Ertz was out there. He's more of the passing reception type of tight end, and Toilolo is your blocking tight end.
Well, Toilolo is just a versatile guy because he can get down the field as well. He's 6'8", 265 pounds, but he can put his foot in the ground. And coaches love to say, if a coach ever says, says on TV or so, he puts his foot in the ground, it just means he's athletic. He can get up the field and do some things athletic.
Toilolo goes in motion, sets up near side. Double pump, pocket collapses, and there's no escape for Nunez. Arizona kept on coming, and good coverage downfield. Hank Hobson was in that backfield for Arizona.
Watch the top right of your screen. I thought Ertz was open, maybe just for just a second, but he does the proper thing. A young quarterback, Nunez, he sits in there, he says, I'm not going to risk the ball with how well my defense is playing. He pulls it down, lives to play another day. They're going to punt the football away and have a great opportunity to pin Arizona inside the 20.
Daniel Zaklinski will punt. Averages nearly 41 yards a kick, and he moves this one up high. Good punt. Bound into the end zone, so a touchback. And Arizona will have it when we come back for the second time. Now the Wildcats hold. It's a 7-0 game here in Stanford. Back at Stanford, Arizona's defense taking a breather after stopping the Cardinal at 7-0 Stanford. And the second time we've seen Matt Scott and the Wildcats on offense. Scott has to bring it down and is taken down by Lancaster, the inside linebacker, number 35. And Joel, from my point of view, that sack caused because of his inability to move around. As we mentioned, hip problem, ankle injury, and Scott looked like he had no place to move.
And good coverage down the field by Stanford. Their defensive backs doing a great job staying on the hip of the Wildcat wide receiver.
Second out. Oh, he spins again. Stanford comes in hard. And Scott sacked for the second time back inside the 10-yard line. David Perry bringing the heat with the nickelback Ronnie Harris.
Yeah, Ronnie Harris, 5'10", 172. He's not very big, but he was right where he needed to be. A terrific blitz designed by defensive coordinator Derek Mason to corral Matt Scott in the pocket.
Third down and a mile. Scott inside his own 5-yard line, hands it off. And Kadeem Carey gets about 5 yards back to the 14-yard line. You know, Joe, it was very easily, you could feel Rich Rodriguez's concern about how small this Wildcat team is. He told us, look, it's a good group, but it's the smallest group I've ever coached.
And he's dealing with lots of injuries just on the offensive line. Kyle Quinn, Trace Biskin, the starting center and starting guard, didn't even make the trip up here to Stanford. So they're playing with some inexperienced linemen, and you're seeing that show itself early in this game.
Kyle Duganzik will punt at his own end zone. Just got the kick away. Drives it for a fair catch inside the 40 to the 37-yard line. Stanford relentless. And they really beat up Matt Scott on that drive. We'll be back on Fox. Fox College Football is sponsored by the all-new Dodge Dart. Dodge, new rules. And in part by Firestone, reminding you that whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. And by Bud Light, it's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. Well, 7-0. We talked about the contrast of styles. Total offense, well, it's 10th versus number 3.
Well, you see the third-ranked defense versus the third-ranked offense, and then on the opposite side, 10th-ranked defense, 10th-ranked offense. Right now, 10th-ranked Stanford against 10th-ranked Arizona on defense and offense.
They got the lead of 7. Taylor, power. Oh, he broke the tackle back at the 40 and picks up 3 more. He ran right through Shaquille Richardson, the left corner, number 5 for Arizona.
Petros, it looks like Stephon Taylor is more versatile than he was a year ago. He was more downhill a year ago.
Yeah, I think he feels a little bit more of the onus to create in this offense, and he's a more creative back, Joel. We were just talking about it. He's making some jump cuts and making some more moves, but he's still a downhill runner.
Flag stopped the play. We'll get back to Taylor. He rushed for 1,330 yards last year. Joel, he's got over 3,000 career rush yards.
Start offense number 73. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
As the right tackle, Cameron Fleming.
These are those downs within a game that are very important that no one realizes. Behind the schedule, 2nd and 10. You should be in 2nd and 6 or less. 2nd and 10. As a quarterback, Josh Nunez has got to be thinking to himself, I need to get at least half of this back, make it 3rd and 5 or less.
Second down, the ball. Great shoe screen, tackle. Taylor had no place to go. Bondurant in that Stanford backfield. Let's get a game break. Back to Los Angeles, and here's Patrick O'Neill.
Craig, Michigan State, Indiana. Spartans trying to bounce back from that tough loss to Ohio State last week and avoid a letdown against Indiana. They come back from 17-0 down, and they end up winning 31-27 in the Big Ten. Craig, Joel, and Petros.
All right, thank you, Patrick. So Michigan State shakes off that hangover from a week ago. Had to come back to do it. Here we're looking at 3rd down and long. Nunez stands in the pocket, pulls it down once, twice, now knocks it. No place to go. Taylor came back to help him out, Joel, but he's going to lose more yardage back inside the 30, and that brings up punting situation. Second time Arizona's defense has found the combination to shut down Stanford.
Well, you're going to see Toilolo open across the middle. He's also got Ertz open across the middle. It tells me that the young quarterback's heart is beating too fast. He's not staying with his progression and moving his feet through. He's pulling it down too soon and looking for that check down. That's just the maturation process of a young QB.
McClinsky will punt for the second time. Takes a Cardinal bounce inside the 20, rolls to the 19-yard line. And that ends the first quarter here at Stanford. Cardinals strike first and early. They're up 7 on Fox. Now 15 minutes of football played here at Stanford on homecoming, and the Cardinal up by 7 as we start quarter number 2. Great goal, Jack Joel Platt, Petros Papadakis here on Fox. Matt Scott goes to work and throws it quickly. Dan Buckner through his hands. And Petros, your thoughts about the tempo offensively for Arizona thus far?
Well, Matt Scott's not getting a lot of help right now from his offensive line or his receivers. Buckner and Hill have really struggled so far, especially on the first drive. I expected Arizona to play a lot faster than this, guys. Right now, they're not playing quickly, and that does not bode well with Stanford is bigger and stronger and hitting them in the mouth.
Stanford show a blitz. Here they come. Right up the middle. Quick read by Scott. It just got it away at the 24-yard line. Scove, the inside linebacker, number 11, did not give Scott much time to release that football.
Nice concentration on the catch from Jackson, who holds that in the face of Chase Thomas, the All-American. He knew he was going to get hit. Brings it in anyways. That's the help Petros is talking about that Matt Scott needs.
3rd down and 5. Shotgun throw to the flat. And just past the 29-yard line is Kadeem Carey, and so move the chains and a 1st down for Arizona. Now they go to the hurry up. Well, Joel, this is what we expected in the first quarter, not the case. And now they start to Johnny Jackson with the catch.
And so many times it's always the first down within a series, and once that happens, then they get the tempo going. That's what you're seeing. It's causing Stanford to play a lot of base defense. 2 safeties back, 1 middle linebacker in the middle of the field. Very easy to pick apart for a quarterback.
This should be a free play. 2nd down short. Quick throw. And it was a misread. Terrence Miller, the intended receiver, but Joel, he was looking to block. He was looking to block downfield.
Terrence Miller has got to understand the defense being played. They moved to a single safety look. The corner has deep responsibility. It's an easy pitch and catch. Those are the easy yards that Arizona has to gain during the course of this game.
In the middle of the pile goes Carey and moved the chains again to the 41. They needed 1, they got 2.
Now the second 1st down, and here we go. This is what Rich Rodriguez wants to do. He doesn't count his success by number of plays, rather number of 1st downs. They're actually 31. That's top in the nation.
Quick throw in traffic. That ball may have been deflected, and it's incomplete.
Petros, it just doesn't look like the wide receivers are on the same page at all with Matt Scott.
Well, remember, Matt Scott, even though he's a really good fit for Rich Rodriguez, and to be frank, Rodriguez was lucky to have him here, he's still a first-year quarterback in this system.
2nd down and 10. Scott again under pressure, comes in Carey. He takes a hard hit from behind out of the 44-yard line. Wayne Lyons, the right corner, came in for the tackle.
Scott 7 for 13 so far, but a lot of those incompletions weren't his fault. Miscommunications or drop balls on the outside.
Scott back to throw again, finds a man. What a catch. Now Johnny Jackson took one right in the middle and somehow hung on.
That's what I'm talking about. A guy going up top, getting the ball, knows he's going to get hit, brings it down anyways. That's a quarterback's best friend right there.
That's Scott trying to run on. Pulls that ball out of the belly, then throws far side for about a yard loss. Johnny Jackson who just made that terrific catch over the top, over the middle. Loses one back to the 44-yard line. 2nd down. Scott man covered, blocks up. Brought down, what a great throw. Over the shoulder grab down at the 13-yard line, and Dan Buckner. What a target at 6'4", the senior from Allen, Texas.
And again, Matt Scott knows he's about to get hit, stands in the face of pressure. That's incredibly difficult to do. To get the power and loft on that ball, the touch on that ball needed, even when the defender is right in your face as a quarterback, and a good adjustment on the ball by Dan Buckner to keep his body and his feet in bounds. Big completion for Arizona.
David Shaw The head coach of Stanford was very impressed with Scott's ability to throw that fade, and he threw a beautiful ball up top, and Arizona is in business. We've got a Cardinal down back at the 41-yard line. We're going to take this to the replay official, Bill Richardson, up top, to assure if it is a catch. That's a ruling on the field, Joel Klatt. Catch on the field is a ruling.
So what they'll be watching for here is if he's caught the ball while that foot was still in bounds. They confirmed that it is a completed pass, exactly what it looked like there. He did have control while that foot was still in bounds. Then he goes out of bounds. But this is a good quality series for Mascot. Now, Petros, he's finally getting the help on the outside. These guys have made some plays. Jackson and now Dan Buckner.
And like you said, Joel, it's all predicated on the first down, and then they can get their pace going. Now Arizona needs to concentrate on getting Kadeem Carey going, because if they don't have him getting tough yards, they're going to have a hard time generating offense consistently throughout the game.
A gain of 31, a reception confirmed by the replay official. Touchdown, Kadeem Carey. I don't know if a Cardinal got a hand on him. He found the opening and scooted through. His 8th rushing touchdown, 13 yards.
Just a huge hole for Kadeem Carey in the middle of that Stanford defense. Way too easy from outside the 10-yard line. Touchdown, Wildcats.
John Bonanno will try to tie this game up with 7. Very impressive offensive series for the Wildcats. And the extra point is up with Arizona finds the end zone. Kadeem Carey, 7-7 here at Stanford. Welcome to Fox College Football, presented by Geico. 12:06 to play first half, and Arizona 7-7 tie now after 12 plays, 81 yards, 8th touchdown scamper of the season for Carey. How about 12 plays, Joel? Already Arizona 23 plays. That was more than half their total plays on that drive.
Well, the most important part, under 3 minutes, they got their tempo going, and you can see that take effect on the Stanford defense. Let's go back. This is what I'm talking about. Base defense. You see a fullback in the backfield, 2 backs. That means that they're going to run the football. And yet Stanford blitzes 2 guys. It leaves 1 middle linebacker in the middle of the field. If you block him, it's off to the races, and they're able to do that. The guard gets up, bang, blocks him, and it's off to the races. Nobody is there to stop Kadeem Carey. Bad recognition by Stanford on defense. You have to understand when that fullback enters the game. Timmy Totobi.
Arizona gaining confidence on that drive. Now Stanford, who scored early on that touchdown toss from Nunes to Ertz. We'll see how they respond. Up the middle, big hole, big yard, and he'll follow the 42. He took the house with him.
They need to reestablish Stephon Taylor right now. He was big on the first series. They go right down and score a touchdown. He had 7 carries on that opening series. If they can get back to him, you're already seeing Arizona doesn't have an answer for Stephon Taylor. I expect them to feature him right now to try to get this momentum back.
How about a gain of 17? He's got 54 on the afternoon. Right back to him. Outside he goes. Puts down his pads and leans forward to the 49. And again, out front, Ryan Hewitt has popped him free a couple of times. The fullback, number 85.
Watch Ryan Hewitt go and block the end. This is a terrific block. It opens up the hole. And that's what Taylor then curls under and gets himself to the outside to find the green grass to run. Ryan Hewitt, one of the more underrated fullbacks in all of the country. Good receiver out of the backfield, but even better blocker on the edge.
Second down, 3, play action to blitz. Nunes steps out of trouble, throws across the middle, and it's incomplete. Dangerous throw. Cody Whitfield, number 9, was kind of slicing across the middle, but Bondurant was bringing some pressure on top of Nunes.
Completely unblocked. It looks like Hewitt, who I was just speaking of the fullback, he had a misassignment in protection. Nunez stepped away, but then the pressure was able to get to him, and he was unable to get anything on that throw to get it down the field over the middle.
Third down. Stanford thus far 2 out of 4 on third down conversions in this game. Question up the middle. Just got the ball away incomplete. And Nunez taking some heat. Arizona maybe the smaller club, but you know what? They're still bringing it up front.
They're having a really hard time right now. Arizona brought more players than Stanford could block. That means that the quarterback is hot in protection. Toilolo was wide open on the backside where the blitz came from. That's a side adjust or hot route. A lot of offenses called. That ball's got to go to Toilolo. Josh Nunez is struggling right now.
Zaklinski with the punt. High hanger. Morrison lets it bounce, and it takes a ricochet and a touchback into the end zone. Stanford scored early. It was a touchdown toss. Nunez to Ertz. Beautiful catch in the corner. Kadeem Carey came right back. We're tied at 7. Fox College Football is sponsored by Chevrolet. From kickoff to the last yard, Chevy runs deep. Welcome back to Stanford Stadium. You have to wonder what's going on here with Stanford and their offense. Struck early. And now Arizona has a little swagger. And Scott runs, throws, finds his fullback. It's out of his hands and out of bounds, incomplete, brings up second down.
Lots of drops so far for Arizona. The drive that they did execute, catch the ball, they were able to move right down the field, get some first downs, and ultimately score a touchdown on the Kadeem Carey run. So important for them to execute against Stanford. When they have the opportunity, they must bring it down.
Play action. The top down. Now, did he have possession? Did he make a football move? That ball is
an
out
interception
at the 36-yard line.
Hit the ground. I don't think that ball ever hit the ground.
And then it came
it came back to Togi. That's a catch.
Togi makes that catch as he was on his back. And you know this is going to go under review.
Ruling on the previous play was a fumble recovered by the offense. Previous play is under review.
Well, it wasn't a fumble. And they're going to conference about that. That was not the ruling. The ruling was a completed catch. Watch Togi as he gets hit right away. It's definitely not a catch. So this is not a fumble to begin with. But the ball never hits the ground off the back of the Stanford player. Then it comes off the arm of Togi and right into his chest. That's going to be a catch.
That would be a definition of a reception the hard way. It's upstairs. Bill Richardson, our replay official.
Hey, come on.
You're going to have to clarify what they're looking at, because remember, it's so important actually what they're going to the replay for. Because the ruling on the field should not have been fumble recovered by Arizona. The ball never hit the ground. That's a completed catch. This is going to be it's going to be first down right here at the 36-yard line like it already is. The concentration from Togi was fantastic.
Let's bring in Mike Pereira in our Los Angeles studios. Mike, this is an interesting look. I like the replay, and I think, what's your take?
Well, I think it's a catch for whatever reason you want to call it. Even though they ruled catch fumble, if you say it's incomplete, you can still review that part. So really anything that's reviewable in the context of replay is going to be looked at.
Fumble. The play was a completed pass in which the ball never touched the ground. Completed pass at the spot where the ball remains on the field. First down.
So that's really kind of one of those where no matter what they called it on the field, if they called it a catch fumble, when they looked at it and saw maybe he didn't have control of the ball long enough, it still never hit the ground. So now it goes back to a catch or incomplete, and it clearly didn't hit the ground, so it was a completed pass.
All right, Mike, thanks for the insight. Mike Pereira. From our Los Angeles studios, Arizona goes right back to work, and a quick throw on a slant. Scott finds Johnny Jackson, who's had a nice first half, and he picks up maybe 9. They'll bring up second down and short as the clock is rolling up on 10 minutes to play in the first half. Matt Scott glances to the sideline. Snap, quick throw, near side, Jackson. He's found himself a big wide receiver here in quarter number 2. Jackson with another grab at midfield.
He only had 8 receptions coming into the game. Redshirt freshman from San Diego. And he's only 5'10", 179 pounds, but he's already shown Matt Scott that he'll go across the middle and catch the ball. That's confidence in a wide receiver.
Arizona hurries up, 5 wide receiver split. Oh, coming strong. Barry Browning, the right corner, number 31, laid the wood on Austin Hill.
Now these wide receivers are making some plays, but Matt Scott is going to have to start protecting them. The ball is way too high for some of the windows that he's throwing in. He's got to get them down around their frame so that they can protect themselves against the defense.
Scott goes back to work, rolls to his right. Throws, just pitch and catch. Dan Buckner with the reception.
Here's an example of what I'm talking about. He knows that there's a corner sitting outside, and that ball is way above the head of the wide receiver. Very dangerous throw. You can't put your wide receiver in position to get hurt like that. Matt Scott's going to have to bring him down like he did on this previous play to Dan Buckner for a first down.
Another first down, low snap, ball batted down. So that whole play blew up just on the exchange from center to quarterback.
Remember, they got a backup center in there.
Addison Bachman in for Kyle Quinn, who's out with a high ankle sprain. Scott up top. He went there before. This time, no Buckner out of bounds. Way down of bounds inside the 10-yard line.
Buckner thought he got a foot down. I thought it was a good job by the corner to push him towards the sidelines. It looked like his foot may have been on the white. The back linesman there right on the call.
Half in, half out. That means incomplete. Stanford defensively so disciplined on that play. They played their lanes. Wayne Lyons with the tackle, as you saw. Matt Scott run near and then went back to the far side of the field. That's disciplined football.
Now on fourth down, Arizona keeps their offense on the field. Rich Rodriguez going for it on the 40-yard line.
8.5 to play before halftime. Corner blitz. Scott throws, caught, and spun out of bounds is Buckner. Wayne Lyons with the stop. There you go. You move the chains, and on fourth down, you gamble a bit. Rich Rodriguez, and the gamble pays off. Fresh downs for Arizona.
And Matt Scott throws this ball perfectly on time, out of the break. Dan Buckner gets that ball right on his chest, and he does a great job of being across the sticks. He understands the situation for the conversion.
They double stack both sides of the field with wide receivers. They hand the ball off. That's Carey, who carries it to about the 27-yard line. A.J. Tarpley, inside backer with the tackle.
They've already had 5 drop passes, and yet Matt Scott still 17 of 26 for 141 in this ball game. He's clearly found a rhythm, and he's gotten some plays made by Totogi and Jackson down the field.
Totogi, he gets knocked hard out of bounds at the 25-yard line.
Petros' offense clearly in a rhythm. Matt Scott throwing the ball very well.
That's what's interesting to me, Joel, is they've gotten out of the rhythm. They had the review, they had a batted down pass, and then they've been able to recapture it. The fourth down conversion, that's really saying something about Matt Scott and what Rich Rodriguez is doing with this Wildcat offense. They're looking better and better as the game goes on.
Togi has been a big target. Look for him down the field, top of your screen.
Scott in the gun, one step, throw to Slater. Buckner inside the 15 to the 14-yard line, and he beat Wayne Lyons. That's just a good throw and a good read.
And again, timing. Look at that hole open up as the safety creeps down. He throws it before the slant gets into the safety window. So Matt Scott and Dan Buckner, after not being on the same page early in this game, developing that rhythm now in the second quarter.
First down to the Wildcats. A little stumble in the backfield. Kadeem Carey, he tried to plant that foot for a cutback, and it gave out on him. Chase Thomas was right there to knock him down. All-America a year ago, 8.5 sacks for Chase Thomas. Fourteenth play of this drive. They're going to call that incomplete. Was the arm forward? Yes, they called it incomplete. But you just saw Carey slip on that same spot as he tried to cut back, and Matt Scott lost his footing.
I was down on the field before the game, and it was wet. The morning dew had not burned onto the field. And remember, it was a noon kick here Pacific time, so the field a little bit slick right now. It's an issue of Arizona trying to overcome here down in the red zone.
15th play of this drive on third down and 12. Collision down inside the 2-yard line, and we got a Cardinal down. That is Ed Reynolds, the free safety, who put a shoulder right on the hip of Terrence Miller.
Again, a high throw into a dangerous part of the field down the middle, especially in the red area. The safeties are going to be more aggressive in the red area. Reynolds, good ball skills, has 3 interceptions on the year. That's 6th in the country. But he missed all of last year due to an injury.
Knee, ACL.
Now Reynolds shaken up after that hit. But again, one of those throws that I've been talking about, when the wide receiver is in traffic, the quarterback's coach will tell that quarterback, you always frame the ball. Try to get it down on their frame, and the frame would be anything from their eye level to their belt. That allows them to keep their arms next to their side when they're catching the ball and protect themselves. You don't want to expose a wide receiver's ribs in that type of a situation.
As they look at Ed Reynolds, we'll step aside. 6:24 left to play, first half at Stanford. That brings up 4th and 12 as we're back at Stanford. Bonanno will try a field goal. He's missed his last 3 attempts. This will be placed down to the 24, a 34-yarder. So Bonanno in a slump. Let's see if he can break out of it here from 34. Right hash. Snap, the hold down, the kick's away. And from 34 yards, it's good. And I'm wondering if those are points that Arizona should have had. I want to take you back. And Mike Pereira, you saw something about 3 plays earlier for Arizona on a call that should have been called a fumble.
Big play here. Watch this. The old empty hand. This was ruled an incomplete pass, but watch. Empty hand. Ball now moves forward. Is there a clear recovery in the immediate action? You will actually see that Stanford does recover the ball. But watch here. Clearly an empty hand. Went unnoticed by the replay assistant, but a big break for Arizona.
Absolutely a huge break. And once Arizona snapped that football, they couldn't go back and take a look at it. Is there a place where Stanford could call a timeout at that point to try to give the officials more time to review it?
Sure they could, but I just don't think, because the ball squirted forward like it did, it just had all the appearances of a forward pass. But you know, you can see even on the live shot, if you had a chance to go back and look at that, and replay assistant would, you could see that the ball was out.
Mike Goodeyes, your 2020s, but the field goal stands. And Arizona on the road, up by 3. Stanford will take a knee and start at the 25-yard line. Joel, that drive went 17 plays, 64 yards, 4.5 minutes off the clock, and a 34-yard field goal.
They got their rhythm, and Matt Scott started playing much better. Right now what you're seeing is there was one quarterback in this game, Josh Nunez, who completed a couple of balls in the first series, and they scored a touchdown. And then Matt Scott got his rhythm, and guess what? Arizona's offense has gone down the field and scored a couple of touchdowns, while Josh Nunez, he struggled the last few series. Third down opportunities, he hasn't been able to convert a hot route. He hasn't been able to convert a wide open tight end across the middle of the field. So Nunez has got to calm down and get into this ballgame.
Ty Montgomery goes in motion as now Stanford splits the field. Arizona, couldn't make the tackle, or that would have been a loss back inside the 25-yard line. I know this is your favorite part of the day. Time for the Aflac trivia question.
All right, here we go.
Now, Stephon Taylor has 2 seasons with 1,000 yards or more running. Who's the only other Stanford player ever with 3 seasons of 1,000 or more?
Oh my gosh. I know Petros is screaming right now. He knows the answer.
Well, the answer for you just a little bit later as they go right up the middle. Stephon Taylor, run on cue to the 34-yard line.
I got 2 who would be, if I were to throw out 2 guesses, it would be either Toby Gerhardt or touchdown Tommy Barnett.
So I think Gerhardt is the automatic one.
That's the one that pops up immediately, right?
Third down and less than a yard. Nunez. Just rolling over the pile is Taylor. You got to get past the 35. They're going to mark him just on the right side of that line. Let's get a game break. Busy day. Here's Patrick O'Neill.
Indeed it is, Craig. Iowa State at 15th ranked TCU. Big 12 matchup. Oh, the Cyclones get a big touchdown. Jared Barnett to Josh Lenz. Made it 7-0. It was 10-0, but TCU looks to have just gotten on the board late first. Back to you guys.
TCU rattled a little bit this week.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, missing their quarterback. He's suspended indefinitely. Paul Hall, after the things he's getting away off the field. That's going to be difficult for him and for them because he was playing so well.
To the 40-yard line. You know, we talked about big matchups. I mean, every week I feel like there's always something out there to gravitate to, but LSU and Florida, Georgia, South Carolina later on tonight. Of course, West Virginia and Texas, Gino and company against the Longhorns in Nebraska and Ohio State. As Urban Meyer and the Buckeyes are at home. There's a few big games to watch about college football. One hopper incomplete on the far side. Filolo was the intended receiver. Hard to miss him. He's 6'8".
Petros, right? And Josh Nunez just has no confidence right now. You can tell in his drop back, the throws are low, not very accurate with the ball.
That's the interesting thing to me, Joel, and I got to ask you, I mean, this is 6 starts in for Josh Nunez, and even in victories over USC and San Jose State, he's had spells where he's lacked confidence. When does it start for him? When is it going to click?
You've got to have success. Until you have a huge amount of success, it's very tough to draw on anything, and Josh Nunez hasn't had that yet. His team has won, but he hasn't had that big game for himself to draw upon mentally.
Third down, shotgun, pressure, stands up top. Taylor makes a move, cuts it at the 20, step arms, and inside the 15. I just mentioned it's good to be 6'8". What a big target, Levine to Lolo. And now Stanford is moving the football inside the 20-yard line.
They tried to get a jam on Toilolo at the line of scrimmage, but it never happened. Hank Hobson, who's the outside linebacker, was in man-to-man coverage, and as soon as he whipped, it was wide open for Toilolo down the field, and an easy completion for a struggling Josh Nunez. That's the most important part of that play. Now a quarterback gaining some confidence.
Back to the ground. Taylor swarmed underneath at the 12-yard line. It's amazing. On cue, you and Petros were talking about the confidence of Nunez.
And he needed.
Yes, he did. He only had 18 completions against Washington for 177 yards. I mentioned earlier his completion rate in the last 2 games under 50%. Second down, 8. Drop with protection. Touchdown, Toledo.
Just a nightmare in a man-to-man situation. Toilolo is 6'8", 265 pounds, and when the quarterback has protection, that's an easy target to find. Nice concept by Pep Hamilton. The corner of the end zone, easy completion, and Toilolo gets the second touchdown for Stanford.
Toilolo, his second touchdown reception of the season. Jordan Williamson boots the extra point. And all of a sudden, Josh Nunez has found confidence. His last 2 throws on the money, and Stanford up by 4. Fox College Football is sponsored by the Samsung Galaxy S3. The next big thing is already here. And in part by Allstate. Are you in good hands? And by UPS. Let UPS put some power of logistics to work for you. And make sure you stay tuned. Coming up on the Pizza Hut halftime report. Plenty of news around college football. Aaron Andrews, Joey, Eddie, they'll be there. LSU taking on number 10 Florida in the swamp. Always a good game in the SEC.
Got Oklahoma in action, TCU in action. Oklahoma's down in Lubbock at Texas Tech. That's a place they always struggle. It doesn't matter if they're ranked number 1 in the country, 18th in the country. It doesn't matter. Bob Stoops' teams struggle in Lubbock, Texas. So the Red Raiders will be looking for the upset there on the Plains.
Stanford goes 75 yards on 8 plays to take the lead, and no return for Arizona. All right, we asked the question. Let's answer today's Aflac trivia question. Stephon Taylor has 2 seasons, Joel, with 1,000+ yards rushing. Who's the only Stanford player to ever rush for three seasons of 1,000 or more?
I was wrong. Darren Nelson Petros. I thought I would have it with touchdown Tommy Vardell or Toby Gerhart.
How dare you bring up touchdown Tommy Vardell in my presence?
My goodness.
Hey, I would have said Toby too. Obviously a trick question. He was second in the Heisman, though, guys.
That's pretty good, right?
Yeah, should have won it.
Yeah, he probably should have. You're right.
Under 3 minutes before halftime. Good ball game for them here at Stanford, Arizona. Back to work. And jumping high was Slavin. Tyler Slavin, the sophomore from Corona, California.
Here's what we're seeing, though. 25, Alex Carter. He's a true freshman. Remember, Terrence Brown left the game early in the first series when he tried to go low on Tommy Totoki. And now a true freshman out there. Arizona looking at that, trying to attack him.
Quick throw, far side. Got the money, but Stanford very disciplined. What would you expect from a Stanford football player? Nothing but discipline.
And they're tough, and they play with a physical nature, and that's something that Coach Shaw was preaching to us. Yet I thought we were going to be asked to take part in an Oklahoma drill or something. I thought, we're just here behind the mic, Coach.
Hey, if you're not tough, as he told us, you don't play at Stanford. I don't care if you're a 5-star recruit. Toughness the number 1 issue you have to have if you're a Stanford Cardinal. Up over the top, Johnny Jackson. And he'll bring it close to midfield at the 49-yard line.
Yeah, I love what they do right here. I just told you there's a true freshman corner on the field, and Alex Carter, number 25, and they go right after him with a wheel concept. The inside receiver getting into his zone, and now a 26-yard completion and the first down of the series. So important for Arizona.
5 wide receivers, they stretch the field. Scott throws, the pads hit, and Houston Hill, the slot, with the catch near the first down marker.
If I'm Arizona, I'm going to throw to my left until Stanford does something to help out their true freshman. Now, he's a good player, Alex Carter is, from Ashburn, Virginia. But he's a true freshman. He hasn't been out there enough.
Another quick throw this time. They go far side to Jackson, or Johnny Jackson. He's earning a game ball in this first half of play as he is hit, knocked out at the 38. First down, Arizona.
He's just had 8 catches coming into this ball game, and all of a sudden you look up, and he's sitting there with 8 already in this ball game for 63 yards.
Slow snap, Scott steps by pressure, now takes a hit right in the belt. Ben Gardner, number 49, put the pads right on the hip of Matt Scott.
Guys, there is not a worse feeling in the world. Your eyes are downfield as a quarterback. You're just trained that way, trying to find the open receiver, identify the coverage, and then all of a sudden, you got 6'4", 275 pounds right in your grill. I mean, that was fierce from Ben Gardner.
Arizona calls a timeout to catch their breath after that hit. Make sure you stay tuned. Coming up is the Pizza Hut halftime report. Aaron Andrews, Joey Harrington, Eddie George, the Heisman winner. They'll recap the early part of the day here in college football.
Update you on that LSU-Florida matchup. Petros, those big hits, man, the pads have been popping all day.
They really do bring it on this defense. I mean, between Chase Thomas and Shane Scove and Gardner, who just laid that hit. I mean, Stanford does make you earn it.
Second down, long. Flags are down. Slavin knew, too, that the hit was coming. He got turned around, made the grab, but a flag back on the far side at the 39.
Going to be an offsides here on Stanford. Arizona will get a free 5 yards.
We'll get the call from Jack Wood.
Offside defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay second down.
I don't know exactly what took so long. It was offsides. They were clearly going to take it. Rarely penalized, these two clubs are. Arizona, though, when they're playing an opponent, their opponents are some of the most penalized teams in the country. So clearly that fast pace creates a lot of indecision and mistakes from an opposition standpoint.
Just over 5 flags a game. Good protection up high. The jump and the catch by Slavin. And he is being wrestled down. It takes 1, 2, 3, 4 Cardinal to finally knock him out of the 24-yard line. It was Alex Carter who hit him first.
I don't know what they're doing. Blow the whistle. We talk about protecting players. You have an opportunity right there. His momentum is clearly stopped. Blow the whistle, get the play dead, and put the ball back on the hash mark. Poor job by the officials on that play.
Another first down for Arizona as the clock now is under a minute to play here in the first half. Scott sets it up on his side. The ball on the hands of Carey at the 21-yard line. Chase Thomas with the tackle. Timeout. We'll take a break. Back after this. 41 seconds remain after the timeout called by Rich Rodriguez. Stanford up by 4. Arizona trying to get on the board before halftime. Scott, good protection, throws. Getting out of bounds is Austin Hill at the 11. So they've got time. Arizona has a timeout if needed. 34 seconds to play. And they can use the sideline to their advantage.
They keep going to that left side. We talked about true freshman Alex Carter. Addison Bachman, by the way, 54, the center. He came up very slow. Looked like he's dealing with some sort of left arm problem. He's still in there. He's the center. Let's watch the snap.
First and goal, Arizona. Scott throws. And out of the hands. Good coverage. He threw into double coverage. Buckner had it on the number, but it popped free thanks to Barry Browning.
A lot of traffic in front of Buckner, but Buckner, I thought, still had a chance. Petros, that ball was right on his frame.
I'm really impressed with Scott. I mean, he's taken some huge hits, and he's shown a lot of poise and toughness running this Arizona offense, and here they have a great chance to take the lead.
Second down goal. Scott a little bit out in front.
It was too open for Matt Scott. He had him. And you see how he faded away from his throw. When you fade back, the ball sails because you don't get that follow through in it, and the nose never comes down. That's how he didn't complete that ball for a touchdown. He's going to want that throw back. That was wide open for Arizona.
3rd down and goal. They're stacked 3 wide, top of your screen.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 68. Please reset the game clock to 25 seconds. Replaying 3rd down.
Now, they've had trouble with their field goal unit. John Bonanno is only 4 of 9 on field goals. He's missed 5 this season. They've really struggled. So if Rich Rodriguez wants to make this a 2-down scenario, then Matt Scott has the opportunity to throw it underneath with 25 seconds left and still get another snap out to go towards the end zone.
3rd down and goal. At 5 yards, mark him back to the 15. Stanford showing blitz. Play action, Scott up top in traffic. Climbing the ladder, incomplete, out of bounds. Austin Hill went up high, but he was really knocked out. Chase Thomas came with pressure, and that forced a tough throw by Scott.
I think that's why the throw was elevated a little bit and didn't allow the receiver to get his foot down quite in time. Good play by the cornerback, Barry Browning, coming over, and that hit. I thought that left foot might have been able to get down if he didn't hit him, but the trajectory after he hit him didn't allow the foot to come down. Great defensive play from Stanford.
Bonanno, who's hit a 34-yarder earlier in this quarter, will try a 33-yard attempt. High snap again. The kick is up on 33, and it is good. A couple of field goals by Bonanno. And to cut Stanford's lead to 1, 14-13. Make sure you stay tuned. We saw Gino last week against Baylor. 656 yards, 8 touchdown passes, and he'll go up against a guy who just doesn't miss. David Ash of Texas, 78% completion percentage. He only thrown for 10 touchdowns, just 1 interception.
Hey, I hope Gus got his rest because that's going to be on down in Austin. This is the quarterback comparison here. David Ash, he's done a really nice job of settling that quarterback controversy that really stretched all season long last year in Texas. And then Geno Smith, nobody's played better during the course of this season. He threw 8 touchdown passes last week, only 6 incompletions, the clear leader for the Heisman Trophy. Although, I will say, Geno doesn't like to get rattled. He doesn't like to get hit. And with Jackson Jeffcoat, Okafor down there for Texas, they can get to the quarterback. That's going to be the best defense he's faced maybe in a year and a half.
Arizona's quick kicking. They're trying to run this clock dry. And how about our social media poll? Fans, we want you to think and vote on the college football social poll of the week. Is Geno Smith the Heisman frontrunner? Who's his biggest threat? Barkley, Colin Klein, Kansas State, E.J. Manuel, Braxton Miller. You can log on to Facebook.com/Fox Sports to cast your vote. You'll have the results a little bit later today in Fox College Football.
All right, take Matt Barkley out of the equation after that loss. It's Colin Klein. The voters love the double threat quarterback. It's got to be Colin Klein would be the biggest threat to Geno Smith.
Kansas State, a really fundamentally sound football team in Manhattan, Kansas indeed. At the 42-yard line as a final second ticks away here on homecoming at Stanford, and a good one. Halftime, 14-13 the Cardinal on top of the Wildcats. Let's send you now to the Pizza Hut halftime report. Here's Aaron.
All right, thanks so much. Coming up on the Pizza Hut halftime, what's happening in the swamp between LSU and Florida, plus possible upset alerts in the Big 12 for number 17 Oklahoma and number 15 TCU. That's all next with Joey and Eddie on the Pizza Hut halftime.
moments away from the second half here at Stanford. And the Cardinal lead 14-13 over the Arizona Wildcats. Craig Bowler, Jack, Joel Klatt. You're here from Petros Papadakis here in just a couple of moments. We talked about the offenses and how they differ. And both teams kind of felt one another out a little bit. A little punch here, a little jab there early.
I thought that it was about the rhythm of the two quarterbacks, or really the entire first half. When Matt Scott was able to get some rhythm, their last 3 possessions, they were able to put points on the scoreboard in each of those possessions. And for Josh Nunez on the other side, he started off very good, especially with help from Stephon Taylor running the football, and then he had that completion in the end zone to Zach Ertz for the first touchdown pass. It wasn't until he stepped up later in the second quarter and started throwing the ball down the field that they got their rhythm back and ultimately took the lead 14-10 before Arizona's final field goal.
What jumps out to you on these halftime stats?
I would say just the number of first downs for Arizona. 31 they're averaging coming into this game, and now they've got their 16 basically halfway there. 51 total plays. That's too many snaps for Stanford's defense to be on the field. We saw them starting to get worn down at the end of the first half.
Arizona will have the football to start this second half of play. The first 3 series, Joel, interesting for Matt Scott. Not a lot of confidence, but then he found his rhythm late. Stanford had their rhythm early and then fell off with back-to-back punts, and then they found a little rhythm in the second quarter.
Matt Scott had some guys step up. Now after scoring on their last 3 possessions of the first half, they get the ball back. And they'll get it at the 25 now to start the second half.
Let's check in with Petros Papadakis, and you had a chance to talk one-on-one with Rich Rodriguez, Pete.
Well, first of all, with his offense, Bowler, it's just like Joel's been saying. He wants to get that first down, and he says once they get it, Matt Scott can get into a rhythm. He's happy with that. The defense, as you guys know, is depleted, but he thinks they're battling. He's happy. Didn't like the big plays to Toilolo, but Bowler, just like you said, it's good to be 6'8".
Indeed. Those are the first half possessions, punt, and then the rhythm started to come around. A couple of field goals along the way, and it's a 1-point game as we start the third quarter. Stanford on top, 14-13. Flags on the first play.
Delay of game. Offense, number 10. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Matt Scott was constantly under pressure in the first half. Stanford really did a good job early of getting to him. It wasn't until they got easy throws in the quick game that they were able to keep him clean. You got to commend him for his courage, because he stood in there a couple of times, completed the ball down the field, and took vicious hits from the Stanford defense.
Oh, great throw and a catch. Leaning out is Austin Hill at the 33-yard line. 42 pass attempts now for Matt Scott here in this ball game.
Over 220 yards.
On the ground, and they push the pile maybe for a yard. Kadeem Carey.
Go back and look at that catch. This was really close as the wide receiver lays out. I think there wouldn't have been enough to overturn that, but really close to a catch, no catch.
Little shovel, far side, trying to turn the edges, Carey, and pushes. I love the effort. Past the 45 to the 46-yard line.
Petros, how about the power from Kadeem Carey? Very versatile.
I'm telling you, this guy's one of the most overlooked players in the entire Pac-12, and he's a one-stop shop as a back. Great feet, aggressive, good size, catches the ball well. He's big time.
Came in with 14 receptions, nearly 540 yards on the ground. Out of Tucson, only a sophomore. Fresh downs for Arizona. Scott pulls that ball out of the belly, then throws it far side at the 40-yard line. Right on the button is Buckner.
And Matt Scott and Dan Buckner, after struggling early with their timing, are clearly in rhythm now. The entire second quarter, and now to open the third, they've thrown those rhythm passes where Scott is delivering the ball before Buckner's out of his break for completions.
Carey, guess Guess who was out blocking? Matt Scott.
Hey, man, he gets hit enough in the pocket. What's he doing? Petros, tell him not to go out there. You grab him on the sideline.
You tell him. This guy's a football player, and he ran the ball so much at Corona Centennial High School in Southern California. That's what he's used to doing. He wants to get physical.
That's not a good wrestler. He's a quarterback.
You're right.
Matt Scott, he came in with 230 yards on the ground. Pretty nice average of nearly 4.5 yards a carry. Quick throw, slant. Miller breaks it inside. They're going to mark him down at the 1 yard line. Beautifully thrown ball. Miller slices inside and a big frame at 6'4", 2 1/4.
I love the way they're attacking Stanford. They have completed so many inside slant routes towards the safeties that the defense has gotten closer and closer towards the middle of the field. Then they expose the outside with a slant.
Carrier, the ball carrier, crashes in, touchdown, Arizona.
They're not going anywhere. Playing ranked opponents, nothing new for this ball club. It's their 3rd straight week. Carey walks in for a touchdown, and too easy for the Wildcats on the first series of the second half.
A statement drive, less than 2 minutes off the 3rd quarter clock, and Bonanno will kick it up and good. Arizona marches downfield. They've got the lead of 6 on Stanford. Fox College Football is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And in part by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Reese's, the perfect combination of chocolate and peanut butter. Reese's. What a statement drive. Arizona, 7 plays, 75 yards, Joel. 1 minute, 54 seconds off the clock, capped off by the 1 yard run by Kadeem Carey.
And Stanford needs to be concerned because that's 4 straight scoring drives for Arizona. They have not been stopped since late in that first quarter. Matt Scott in a great rhythm.
They didn't play small, did they, on that drive?
No, they did not. They played big.
2 yards deep, Ty Montgomery brings it out. He's chopped down at the 15.
In the first half, the leaders for Stanford, it was Josh Nunez throwing the ball. 7 of 11 for 101 yards and the 2 touchdowns to his 2 tight ends. Stephen Taylor, he was the guy they featured early in the first half, got away from that a little bit in the second quarter. 18 for 79, almost 4.5 per carry. And then the big guy, Levine Toilolo. This is a guy who's a real threat down the middle of the field. 2 catches, 58 yards, averaging 29 a pop, including that touchdown pass, the second touchdown that Stanford scored.
Let's see what Stanford will do on this first series. Arizona, the swarming defense. Back in that backfield of the Cardinal, Jake Fisher right inside. Now they started impressive, Joel, with a touchdown. 3 straight punts and then a touchdown before halftime.
Other than that, though, it really wasn't all that impressive. 5 plays, a 3 and out, 4 plays. Stanford and Josh Nunez were struggling to find themselves in that first half, and then they come out and immediately gain no yards on a run play. So not a good recipe right now for the Cardinals.
Second down after no gain. Pressure from the corner. A catch looked like it was made on the top of the helmet. Toilolo, that is a reception. And he picked that ball off the top of Jake Fisher's hat.
This ball was a little bit underthrown. That's why it's on the back of the linebacker. But what an athletic move from Toilolo. This guy is absolutely incredible. We've seen some fantastic tight ends already in this season, including Washington's terrific Austin Safarian-Jenkins, but I got to tell you, Levine Toilolo is right up there with him. What a terrific threat down the middle of the field.
That's his 3rd catch now for 80 yards. He had the touchdown in the first half of 12 to put Stanford on top 14-10. But Fisher is down. Let's get a game break and go back to Los Angeles. Here's Patrick O'Neill.
All right, thank you, Craig. First Big Ten matchup for both Michigan and Purdue. We call this a pick 6 in the business. Caleb Turbush picked off by Ramon Taylor. Made it 21-0 Michigan. Now 21-3 Michigan up on Purdue. Craig, Joel, and Petros, back to you at Stanford.
Well, Michigan's got the lead. Arizona leading here on the road at Stanford, 2014. That's the second time Fisher's been down in this ball game, Joel. The middle linebacker last year missed all of last season because of a knee injury, but came in leading the Pac-12 in total tackles with 49. Stanford moving the football up and a great reception. Slipping the ball into the pocket. There's a catch underneath. And all ended is Zach Ertz. Well, what a couple of tight ends.
They were both
that
open.
Stanford has.
They were both open on this play. Toilolo across the bottom of the formation, and then over the top, Ertz coming wide open over the middle of the field. I like what Nunez did. He stepped up, kept his eyes downfield, and then delivered the strike, allowed Ertz to run.
Pick up a 16. Play action.
Wide open.
Nunez has a man. Toilolo inside the 10, and they'll knock him down to the 6. Jonathan McKnight saved the touchdown. And right now, the Cardinal tight ends are winning the war against Arizona.
Just a corner route from the left tight end, and it was a blown coverage from the get-go. Number 6, Jonathan McKnight, the corner, he bit on the heavy play-action fake and allowed Toilolo to run free down the left side of the field.
42-yard gain, first and goal at the 5-yard line. Taylor in the backfield. That ball's down. And Nunez looks like he was quick to recover and pounce on that football. And maybe gained a yard or two on the play.
He might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, you're right, which you don't often see with a fumble. Terrible feeling for a quarterback to see that ball, especially on the center quarterback exchange, pop straight up like that, just trying to get it. And they had a guard pulling at the same time. Nunez does the smart thing, dives on it right away to gain possession.
First and goal. So first and goal. Clock runs up on 11 minutes here in the third. Arizona took the opening kick to start the second half, scored. And Arizona is trying to hold Stanford
On the arms and legs of Nunez, Stanford answers the opening touchdown from Arizona, up and over the top. Power football from the quarterback to give Stanford their third touchdown of the day.
And we're tied at 20, the PAT to come. Williamson and kicks it up and through, and the Cardinal answer. Arizona, Nunez catching some air. That's his first rushing touchdown of the season, and the Stanford Cardinal up by 1. Fox College Football is sponsored by Pizza Hut. Make it great. Third quarter with 10:51 remaining. Back and forth we go. Stanford 21, Arizona 20. And the big targets of Stanford, very impressive corral of tight ends.
Zach Ertz only the 2 catches, but he has scored a touchdown. Toilolo is the one who's really emerged, and he's a versatile player. Petros, you love the way he bends.
Yeah, he bends his body for a guy that tall. That's unbelievable, and a very underrated run block.
Kick away, 5 yards deep, no return, and a knee by Daniel Jenkins. Well, let's introduce the UPS Team Performance Index. It's a new statistical measure that looks at the efficiency of a team's offense, defense, special teams, and miscues to define their competitive advantage. Check out the UPS Team Performance Index throughout the season for a look at the logistics behind a winning team. Alabama, you'll find right there in the thick of it. Kansas State, fundamentally sound.
Always under Bill Snyder. What he's doing again, I mean, come on.
Come on, you leave, they named the stadium after you, and then you come back and rebuild a program for the second time.
If they made that a movie, I would think it was like super lame. They'd be like, no, that can't really happen. He's done it again.
Well, Stanford answered Arizona's touchdown. There's a left-handed throw by Matt Scott. Incomplete and shaken up as Scott. Let's get a quick game break. Here's Patrick O'Neill.
After this game, absolutely no reason to go anywhere. Number 8, West Virginian quarterback Geno Smith, the Heisman front runner with those 8 TDs last week in Austin, taking on the 11th-ranked Texas Longhorns. What a battle. Gus and Charles with the call on Fox. Who do you guys like?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one, Patrick. May take us a while to break that down.
You know, Geno is such a versatile QB. He can make every throw.
Yeah.
Deep, short. He's got complete command of that offense, but I'm really interested to see how he deals with some Texas pressure.
Wayne Lyons grabbed the ankle of Terrence Miller before the ball was in the air, and there's a flag at the 40-yard line. Well, that's going to be a terrific matchup. And you're right, Gus and Charles, I hope you got your sleep. We were in Morgantown last week, and it was a long, fun affair, 70-63.
Pass interference, defense, number 2. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot and an automatic first down.
The more balanced team is Texas in that matchup. And for that reason, I would have to lean towards the Longhorns because they're not the team that gave up 700 yards of offense and 63 points last week. Even though they gave up a lot to Oklahoma State, it wasn't 763.
They stack it too deep, both sides of the field. 1st and 10, Arizona off the ground, breaking one tackle and another. Well, the hard running of Arizona. Kadeem Carey, I'd say, he weighs 197. He runs like he's 2 1/4.
And I think that I echo what Petros has said about Kadeem Carey. He is a very solid back all around. Protection, run the game, in the run game and the pass game.
Picks up nearly 9. They go right back to him, first down, past midfield to the 48.
And we're seeing him featured a little bit more on this series. Petros, maybe that's because Matt Scott threw the ball so much they opened up the middle of that field.
Well, he threw the ball 41 times in the first half. Eddie George referenced it at halftime. He might be on pace for 80. That's why they're running the ball now.
80 attempts, that's nuts.
65 yards for Kadeem Carey, back to the air, wide open, and on the hands of Austin Hill. That's a nice football thrown by Matt Scott, up and over. And right now, Arizona seems like they are just cutting a hot knife through butter on this Stanford defense.
When Wayne Lyons, the sophomore corner, dropped off that corner route, bang, the ball was there over the top.
Carey, middle of the pile. Right now, you're looking at a 4 to 5 yard clip every time Carey touches the football. So he's over just a little over 5 yards per touch. From the gun. Carey takes a hit, still picks up an extra yard on the lean near the 15-yard line. And Matt Scott, he does not hesitate to put his nose in there.
No, he doesn't. And this is what that tough running gets you. A 3rd and short opportunity. Now, Totogi, is back in the game. The fullback, 4 for 4 in the red zone. They had not been good all year long coming into this season.
Matt Scott on the keeper as he faked that ball in the belly of Kadeem Carey. They wanted a first down. It's close. I think he's about a football shy. Fourth and a foot. Quickly, Arizona lines up. The snap is down. Well, Kadeem Carey hit a wall. Picked up 3, lost a hat. He'll have to sit out a play to the 12-yard line.
Petros, this is where this new rule is just, I mean, it's already such a bad rule. Kadeem Carey, their key offensive player, has to go out there in the red zone. Let him get, I mean, he's not hurt. Let him play.
They didn't even replace him. It's all receivers now.
Daniel Jenkins, number 3, alongside Scott. 1st and 10. Scott sets his feet. The needle, you betcha. Austin Hill with a great grab in the end zone.
Rolling to his left to set his feet. Matt Scott throws back across his body to hit Hill in the back of the end zone. That is exceptionally hard to do. It takes great footwork from a quarterback. Scott had it on the last play, delivers the strike for the touchdown.
Goes snap, kicks up. Bonanno. How about this one? Arizona 27, Stanford 21 on Fox. Arizona on the road against Stanford. And so far, the Cardinal, Joel, in this third quarter, they've had no answer. Arizona marching down for back-to-back touchdowns. Stanford answered with one of their own. Ty Montgomery brings it out. Oh, he took a lick. He's down at the 15-yard line. Let's step aside. Look at this week's Heisman Watch presented by Nissan.
Well, you've got to start with Geno Smith when you throw for 8 touchdown passes and do what he's done, 20 touchdowns, 0 interceptions on the year. And then behind that, I would have to sit with Colin Klein and what he's doing at Kansas State, the reemergence of the Wildcat program. And E.J. Manuel is quickly getting into that race with what Florida State has been able to do. Florida State is going to win the ACC. They're going to have a heck of a chance to play for a BCS national title.
Taylor, the ball carrier. Arizona takes it down after a 1-yard loss. Let me jump back real quick. Did Matt Barkley work his way back into the top 4? Is he next in line after the rally in Utah against the Utes? It's
going to be very tough because you've got a guy who's not playing today because Alabama doesn't play today, but A.J. McCarron is going to start getting a lot of love. You know, when you're the quarterback of the #1 ranked team in the country and you haven't thrown an interception, 12 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, I think A.J. McCarron is going to be the one that starts creeping up into that Heisman conversation.
Second down for Stanford. With the gun. Lobs it up over the top. That's a dangerous throw. And trying to help him out was Toilolo. That ball's incomplete. Let's get a game break back to Los Angeles. And here's Patrick.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. All this talk about these great quarterbacks in college football. Landry Jones says, hey, what about me? Oklahoma and Texas Tech Sooners take the lead 24-13 at the half. Landry, 175 yards and 2 touchdowns. Craig and Joel, not too bad.
Patrick, like your thought. Landry Jones, quality signal caller. I'll tell you, there's some pretty good triggermen in the college football ranks nowadays. Pitch and catch to the 25-yard line is Ertz. Jonathan McKnight, the right corner, wrapped him up short of the first down.
It's really close. He doesn't get it. They're about a yard short by the looks of where this line judge spotted it. They got to the 25. They needed the 26-yard line. They're going to have to punt the ball away. Right back to the hot offense that Arizona has put out there. They've scored on 5 straight possessions.
And Joel, they should have good field position here as the punt's going to come inside the 15-yard line, but a booming kick. Zaklinski did a great job trying to back Morrison. Fine. A pile up at the 21-yard line. 6:43 to go in Stanford. Well, Fox tomorrow, the scariest night of the year comes early. It's animation domination. Hilarious Halloween. And what would the holiday be without a new Simpsons Treehouse of Horror? It all starts tomorrow, 7:30, 6:30 Central, only on Fox. That time of year. It's old planned Halloween. The juniors are out. Well, now Arizona with some rhythm here on the road. Scott having a big day. Throws, connects for a first down at the 36-yard line. Austin Hill. 8 different receivers that Matt Scott is connected with.
And the leaders for Arizona, Matt Scott, already over 300 yards. And then you got Kadeem Carey, 76 yards on his way to 100. And Austin Hill has become the favorite target for Matt Scott here in the second half.
What a run. Another big chunk, 12 yards, as Kadeem Carey high steps it past the 45-yard line.
And Stanford has just not stopped Arizona now for 5 straight series. They've run in extra guys. They can't do anything right now schematically to slow down the Wildcats.
Play action, Scott. Plenty of time over the middle. And the Cardinal recover That was Carrington, the free safety. Made up some ground in a hurry, flung his body out, and knocked that ball down.
The pressure is what early in this game was giving Stanford's defense their success. What Arizona did to combat that was go with this play action, quick game out onto the edge into the flats. I think Stanford's got to get some sort of pressure with their front three and cover with 8.
Low snap picked up. Scott, and the collisions have been hard and consistent today. Johnny Jackson's been right in the middle of it all at the 45-yard line. The defensive coordinator, Derek Mason, told us something I thought was interesting. We're going to play 22. We're deep, we're sound, we're going to rotate different fronts. You know what? Still, Arizona's wearing out the Cardinal right now. Close to a first down. Lancaster, number 35, inside linebacker with the stop. That's a fourth down at about a foot. Arizona flags are out as a whistle stop play.
False start, offense number 73. 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
Fabian Zebele, top of your screen, just leans back, actually leans forward. They're going to hand the ball off to Carey. Carey can't believe it, frustrated with his right tackle, especially with the rhythm that Arizona had established in this game, having to punt now because of a mental error by your offensive line. Very frustrating for Arizona.
So they'll punt with Duganzik and a line drive. There's a fair catch, 10-yard line. Turtle with the fair catch. As you look at the Pac-12 standings in the North and the South, Stanford 1-1, 3-1 overall, and Arizona in dire need, so glad of a conference win in the South. They're 0-2.
During conference play is when it really spiraled out of control last year for Mike Stoops and led to his dismissal as head coach. Bring in Rich Rodriguez now, and they lose those first 2 conference games, one to Oregon and then a hard-fought game against Oregon State. They desperately need to get some momentum and a foundation built in conference play.
Stephon Taylor chopped down to the 15 after a 5-yard pickup.
I've been impressed with the way this 3-3-5 defense, that's this new defense that they have put into place. Jeff Castile, the defensive coordinator for Arizona, I've been very impressed with how it stopped the runs. When you just sit there and say, well, they're running a 3-3-5, Stanford should be able to run the ball. Well, those safeties and extra defensive backs have been big, stopping the run in support.
Double tight set on 2nd down 5. Stretch it out to Taylor, stops it going, lays the pads out. He'll be close to a first down at the 19. Let's get a game break. Back to Los Angeles and Patrick O'Neill.
ACC matchup, Georgia Tech and 15th ranked Clemson. We've been showing you some good quarterback play, but look at the athleticism of Taj Boyd. Going left, singing it down the sideline to DeAndre Hopkins, 58 yards. Guys, Boyd, 251 yards. That touchdown also one on the ground. Back to you.
How about that pull-away speed after the catch? There's a first down for Taylor, and Stanford's drive will continue on.
Arizona started having success on defense when they committed to stopping the run. They said, if you're going to beat us, it's going to be with your tight ends and Josh Nunez. Now, Josh Nunez and the tight ends have done a good job, but Stephon Taylor has not had much room to run in this football game, so kudos to the Arizona defense for playing so stout.
Arizona comes with pressure off the edge. Standing in that pocket is Nunez. He throws short, incomplete.
They are just playing man-to-man defense and loading the run box with defenders, forcing Josh Nunez to throw against man coverage. Petros, I love the game plan because a quarterback that didn't have a lot of rhythm early is going to struggle against man coverage.
You know, it's pretty interesting. He has these little spells where he lacks confidence. We talked about it in the first half. But when Stanford lines up with Ryan Hewitt at fullback in the backfield or a full house look, they do have success running the ball.
2nd down. And now a flag is dropped. Ty Montgomery, the intended receiver, and he got tangled up on the far sideline with Jonathan McKnight.
Good battle on the outside. Nunez gives his wide receiver a chance. You saw the jersey being pulled
Pass
down.
interference, defense, number 6. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot and an automatic first down.
Montgomery's holding on to Jonathan McKnight just as much as McKnight was holding on to Montgomery, but Montgomery in this case gets the benefit of the doubt and the call and gets that crucial first down for Stanford. They needed that because they have not had a lot of success in their last few drives against this Wildcat defense.
Fresh downs just inside the 40-yard line. Under 3.5 minutes to play in the third. Low snap picked up Nunez. Had it, caught it, inside the 10-yard line. Jamal Rashad Patterson. He backs up Montgomery and grabs his third reception of the season.
And a really accurate deep ball from Nunez right on the chest of his wide receiver Rashad Patterson. Hits him in stride inside the 10-yard line, and exactly the recipe for Stanford all day long. It hasn't just been running the football. They've needed big plays out of Nunez in the pass game in order to set themselves up for touchdowns. And now the Wildcats, Stephon Taylor set to receive the snap.
Hikes the leg, looks for an opening. Stephon Taylor hits the edge. Pass crash to the 5-yard line. That was a 54-yard completion on that last play.
Watch Bondurant. He's going to come all the way from his backside to chase down Stephon Taylor. This is hustle right here. Backside, here he comes. Looks like he's going to get there. Taylor runs out of it. That's great hustle from Tremaine Bondurant. And just as Petros mentioned, when he's in the game, they've been able to run the ball in between the tackles, and they do it from outside the 5-yard line to get it into the end zone.
Got a player down on a knee, Marquise Flowers. And now he's up and able to walk off the field. Finds Sam, strong side linebacker, junior out of Phoenix. He had 11 tackles last week against Oregon State. And now the extra point to come. Williamson set to put Stanford on top. We're tied at 27 with the PAT. Kick is good, and the Cardinals regain the lead on a homecoming day here on Fox. Oh, the campus here at Stanford. You walk through it, it's picture postcards everywhere you look. So much tradition. And it's homecoming weekend. Beautiful day. Clouds yesterday scattered. Today really cleared off as we kicked it away. And another kick. Jennings, no return. Arizona will start at their own 25-yard line. We're getting a track beat here in quarter number 3.
Stephon Taylor's leaving the field. This is live as we speak. Arizona coming on the field. Stephon Taylor headed back to the locker room. Over 100 yards with that last rush. 24 carries now, 101 yards. The 1 touchdown. 16th career game with 100 yards. So we'll try to get an update as soon as we possibly can. But a huge story right now for Stanford if they get to go back on offense anytime soon with Stephon Taylor still in the locker room.
And he is the ground game, the running game for Stanford. 28-27, Stanford on top. They set up a screen, left side. And still on the run, through traffic, carries a couple of Cardinal to the 45-yard line. This young man has been dynamite both on the ground and through the air.
Petros, this guy is sensational, and it's clear Stanford struggling last year, over the last couple of years with Oregon and Oklahoma State. Stanford is not built to stop the spread.
Well, we knew that this was the best Stanford defense we've seen in a while. We talked about how great Scove and Thomas are, but these guys are susceptible to Pac-12 spread offenses, and that doesn't bode well in the North, Joel. You know it.
Got a player down at the 45-yard line. That's Johnny Jackson, who's had a terrific ball game thus far. Now let's go back to Los Angeles, get an update on LSU, Florida. Patrick?
All right, Craig, thanks. That's right. Big-time SEC matchup, 4 versus 10. Gators quarterback Jeff Driscoll wouldn't go down, but he coughs up the football end of the first half, and it's recovered by LSU. It lead to a field goal, 6-0 at the half. They're now in the third quarter, same score. No surprise, that game all about defense. Craig and Joel.
Yeah, great point, Patrick. And Joel, as you know, so important when a ball comes out, you have got to cradle the ball and regain possession.
Just get on it. You know, we saw it even last night, Thursday night with USC and Utah. Matt Barkley tried to pick up a ball, and then it ended up being stolen away from him for a touchdown for Utah. You got to get on the football, but that's a huge game when you talk about the national landscape. The top 10. And this is a big weekend because Oregon's going to face a test with Washington, even though that's at Oregon. LSU and Florida now locked in that 6-0 ball game. Georgia at South Carolina. Georgia's, I think, the most underrated of the top 5 because of their balance. Aaron Murray, the top-rated passer in the SEC. Plus, they've got Gurley and Marshall, the 2 true freshmen. Gershel, as they call them, kind of power and speed. They can run the football really well. I think it's going to be tough for South Carolina, even at home, to beat Georgia.
Jackson gets off the field, back to action. As Kadeem Carey wiggles his way past midfield to the 49. Henry Anderson, the defensive end, made the initial hit. I've been impressed with Carey's ability for yards after contact.
He just never stops, does he?
It's amazing. He's a durable back at 5'10", 197. From the gun, Scott got a man far side of the field. Austin Hill, the slot. In Arizona right now in this third quarter, Joel, up and down the field. They're knocking on the door at the 21-yard line.
And it started in the second quarter. A blown coverage from Stanford. The outside linebacker, Trent Murphy, number 93, thinks he's dropping back to the middle of the field. Clearly a blown coverage and a missed assignment. Austin Hill wide open.
47-yard gain again. It's out to the far side on the hands of Buckner. And he's driven out by 1, 2, 3, 4 Cardinal. Led by Scove and company.
That was the 76th snap for Arizona. This Stanford defense, look at it, hands on their hips. They're tired. Even a guy like Scove, who never gets tired. Trent Murphy, hands on his hips. They're tired right now.
They average 88 snaps a game, and they're going to bypass it at this rate. Play action, quick throw. Touchdown! Austin Hill! What a dart off the hand of Scott.
A pass off of the play action. Steps up, and that's framing the football right on the face mask of Austin Hill. That's a tough throw. He made that look way more easy than it actually is, and U of A is going to go for 2 here. Trying to get a little separation between them and the Cardinal. What a throw. My goodness. Right on the face mask of Hill.
Scott from the gun. Throws. Hands. Slavin. And the 2-point conversion fails. And it's 33-28 Arizona.
Just out of his reach. Selfishly, as a former quarterback, I'm thinking to myself, hey, maybe he should have come up with, with that one.
Tomorrow on Fox NFL Sunday, the Eagles head to Pittsburgh to take on Big Ben and the Steelers, or you'll see the Packers battle the Colts, Falcons, Redskins, or how about Jay Cutler and the Bears square off against Maurice Jones-Drew and the Jags, or you'll see the Seahawks and the Panthers. It all begins with the Built Ford Tough Fox NFL Sunday pregame show, and tomorrow, high noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Lots of different guys have caught a pass. You've got Austin Hill with 132 yards now, a couple of touchdowns on 9 catches. Jackson, who was shaken up on the last series, he's got 10 catches. Buckner with 7 catches. Lots of guys getting in the act for Matt Scott in Arizona.
Kicks away to Ty Montgomery. Dangerous, 4th best kick return in the nation. And here's why. He bangs his way to the 30-yard line. Averages nearly 28 yards a kick return, and he runs it up to the 30.
And a critical series for Stanford now on offense. And without their leader, their best player on offense, Stephon Taylor. This is what he's been able to do today. He's been a real workhorse for them. Over 100 yards. Trying to do it on the outside. And it's been physical runs. He's had to run through a bunch of arm tackles. He's had to run tough in between the tackles. 1 touchdown on the day, along with 17. Trying to go out there and play offense without Stephon Taylor is going to be very tough for Josh Nunez in this offense.
Ramon Wright, a redshirt freshman out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, gets the call at running back. How about that? As he dances his way for 15. And it took a host of Arizona Wildcats to bring him down. And how about this? Right on cue, Taylor makes a jog out of the Stanford locker room.
And Pep Hamilton, the offensive coordinator, has got to be thinking to himself, will we get him in for this play? I mean, he wants him out there as quickly as he possibly can. That's good news for Stanford.
Nice run by Wright. Picks up 15. First down, Stanford. At the 45-yard line. Under a minute to go in this wild 3rd quarter. Kelsey Young in motion. He's got the ball. Breaks the tackle. 30, 25, 20. Young, 5. Touchdown!
Apparently David Shaw doesn't need Stephon Taylor. A quick strike drive for Stanford Cardinal. Wow, that was fast. My goodness. They didn't have to go to their tight ends.
They went to backups with Wright and Kelsey Young, and they find the end zone. And that Stanford Cardinal sideline has erupted. What an answer back, and they're going to try it for 2. Shaw is livid. He's had to be chased off the field by a couple of officials, and now a timeout call and given to Stanford.
Let's take a look at this touchdown. A jet sweep, just a handoff out of the shotgun. How about the block from Wright? He goes out there, gets a little shield block, and then it's Young just off to the races. Kelsey Young, 5'10", 195. It was over. When he's even, he's leaving. And he did so all the way to the goal line.
Only his 3rd carry of the year, and he flies 55 yards for the touchdown.
He was the 12th best running back prospect in the nation. 21st ranked recruit in California. And he shows you why. And the sideline just erupted when he took off. Petros, he's a young guy, but clearly getting some meaningful snaps now.
Yeah, the Stanford sideline, you're right. Gaining confidence as their quarterback. Josh Nunez gains confidence. And why not be confident when you have a guy like that, a redshirted in 2011, but with elite speed. Kelsey Young just takes off and gets you a big chunk like that. He's got tailback and wide receiver potential, and you can tell they're not quite sure how to fit him into their offense yet, but that's a pretty good start.
Now, Petros, they were really upset with the officials there. They're going to go for 2 here. Were they trying to get the ball moved to the opposite hash?
I think it was either that or they were trying to get the play off a little faster and catch Arizona off guard, and that wasn't happening, and it set David Shaw off.
Stanford will go for 2, and they set up with the power. Isolation up top, ball knocked down. Loyola at 16. Again, they try to jump him up high. And Arizona was there to defend the pass, led by McKnight, the right corner.
Not a bad option, trying to go to 6'8", 265. but the corner, Jonathan McKnight, just did a great job of going up high. Look, he has to jump. I mean, this is mismatch at its finest. One guy has to jump, one guy's still flat on his feet, but McKnight wins the battle, goes up and knocks that ball away.
Stanford 34, Arizona 33. Are we in Morgantown? That's where we were last Saturday.
At this point, I think it was 58, 54, something along those lines. Not quite Morgantown, but for a Stanford offense, this is quick strike offense. 34 points now at the tail end of the third quarter. Arizona, this is status quo for them. They've already got 478 yards of offense, over 400 through the air with Matt Scott. They're coming back on the field. They have not been stopped much this entire game since the second quarter started.
Williamson kicks it away. And no return for Arizona. They'll start at the 25-yard line. This college football season, Fox Sports is proud to partner with the Prostate Cancer Foundation, the world's largest supporter of prostate cancer research. 1 in 6 American men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. To learn more, please visit pcf.org/Fox Sports. On that kick, Joel, I see a flag far side of the 40.
Will be put in play at the 30-yard line. First down.
There was an offsides on Stanford. They would tack it to the end of the result, so it'll be first down at the 30. And here comes the Arizona offense. Boy, you talk about rhythm and precision. It started with Matt Scott at the quarterback position, but their tempo has just taken its toll on Stanford.
Matt Scott goes back to work. Final seconds of the third. They throw it out to the flat, wide open. It's hit a wall.
And here they go again. This tempo has been very quick. They were feeling their way out in the first quarter a little bit, and then once they started getting some success, it has been fast. I mean, very fast. That was their 79th snap of the game. Oh, this will be their 80th snap of the game when we come back for the first snap of the fourth quarter.
A lot of emotion.
Look at them running.
They're sprinting.
They're not even tired.
Emotional day, high scoring. Stanford 34, Arizona 33. On to the fourth we go on Fox. Welcome to Fox College Football, presented by Geico. 15 minutes of play here at Stanford. Craig Bolerjack, Joel Platt, Petros Papadakis, the first of two. A doubleheader day here on Fox. Later, West Virginia, Texas. Gus Johnson, Charles Davis. This one's far from done. There's a keeper by Scott, and he hustles out of bounds near midfield at the 49-yard line.
Just completely fooled the defense. He hasn't shown that he will take and tuck that ball on the zone read all day long. And now for the first snap, the 80th snap of the game, the first snap of the fourth quarter, he takes it and tucks it for an easy first down.
Arizona at this pace is going to break 100. Stanford brings pressure and whistles will stop play. There's a flag on the far side.
False start. Offense number 68. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Let's check in. Petros, fourth quarter. Who survives?
That's a tough call right now because Stanford's offense has some big play swagger right now, and Matt Scott's caught a heck of a rhythm. How did Matt Scott end up in Rich Rodriguez's lap? That's a great question. I mean, this is a guy who was supposed to start after Willie Tuatama was done.
Well, he's found some rhythm today as he throws that ball to carry. And Petros, Matt Scott right now seems to really be in rhythm and really has an understanding of what Rich Rodriguez expects.
It's very interesting the way it happened because he was supposed to be the starter after Willie Tuatama, and then Nick Foles came in and started. So last year, Mike Stoops decided to redshirt him. He ends up getting fired, and here he is for you as a senior. Matt Scott running Rich Rod's offense pretty brilliantly.
Over 400 yards, passing, looking for more. Good protection, slings it to the near side, and it's going to be whistled incomplete at the 40, out of bounds. It was Terrence Miller, the intended receiver, did not play the last two against Oregon and Oregon State because of injury.
You know, when they've needed a big play, they've gone to that wheel concept with Austin Hill, or they've gone one-on-one with Dan Buckner. Dan Buckner, top of your screen. Austin Hill, the slot receiver at the bottom of your screen.
Four wide receivers set again as Scott takes a glance to the sideline. Daniel Jenkins lines up on one side. Scott throws to start in the middle. In traffic on the hands of Austin Hill. Beautiful throw. How he got it there, I don't know. At the 32-yard line.
Yeah, it was a good throw. He definitely threaded the needle, but how about the catch? Hill goes back behind his body to make that catch off of his left shoulder. That's just terrific concentration. This kid has emerged as a star today.
Carey cartwheels to the 26.
Petros, it's clear Stanford is going to have to outscore Arizona if they want to win, because this Arizona offense is not to be stopped.
Do you think they can? I mean, with Nunez having more confidence, throwing the ball over 20 yards to play right now, can he mess with this?
Quick throw, hot slant. Inside the 15 goes Buckner. You know, the difference maker, gentlemen, in this game could be a turnover, whether that is a fumble, an interception. But right now, the execution by Matt Scott, I don't see a flaw.
Yeah, execution is at a premium right now. You're exactly right. The wide receivers are running terrific routes and now making plays for Matt Scott, which they didn't do in the first quarter.
On the gun, handoff. They're trying to rip it out of the hands of Kadeem Carey. He's inside the 10, maybe the 8-yard line. Henry Anderson made the initial hit, big number 91. Second down. Arizona trying to retain the lead. Go up top, man coverage in the end zone. Out of bounds. You're not going to put down with Buckner. Barry Browning got as good coverage, Joel, as you can expect. We let him loose a little bit, but out of bounds, yes.
Are they going to single him up again? They clearly want to go to Buckner. They've got Hill in the slot now, at the bottom of your screen on the hash. Dan Buckner at the top of your, those are the two guys that are the threats for Arizona.
And walking in, touchdown, Carey.
And oh yeah, don't forget about Kadeem Carey.
You know, you're looking to throw the ball, you kind of bring it in a little bit, and all of a sudden Kadeem Carey comes out of the pile and walks in untouched.
That was the biggest hole of the day. You could have fit 13 Kadeem Careys through that hole.
What a game for Rich Rodriguez. He's in a battle, of course, with David Shaw across the field. 39-34. They line up for two. Got it. Austin Hill has done it all today. And Arizona connects on the two-point conversion. They now own a 41-34 lead. More to come. Stay tuned on Fox. Fox College Football is sponsored by the new 2013 Ford F-150 with EcoBoost, and in part by Aflac, official partner of the Heisman Trophy, and by DirecTV. Now, NFL Sunday Ticket is included at no extra charge when you make the switch. Arizona 41, Stanford 34, 12:29 to go here on Fox, the first of two. A doubleheader day. Later on, West Virginia, Texas.
Well, we thought that was going to be a shootout. We got one here in Stanford.
Montgomery. Watch out. 20-25 wrapped up in a great return out to the 29-yard line. As Stephon Taylor, we saw him jog out of the locker room. Is he going to come back out? The hat is on. 24 carries, 101 yards before he was taken into the locker room. And yes, here he comes, Stephon Taylor.
And a huge boost for Stanford. Even though they were able to score without him, they're just so much more dangerous with him in the backfield. And as Petros has explained, they're more dangerous with Hewitt, the fullback, in the game, which they have right now.
Double tight set, play action. Ennis, one pump, throws underneath, turns the tight end, and maybe a yard to the 31-yard line.
Nunez playing it safe there because he had Toilolo open on the corner route. They cleared it out with an outside go. Nunez comes off that fake, and Toilolo was open again, but he did not give him the ball. That's several times now that Nunez has been hesitant to pull the trigger in this game. He's had ebbs and flows of confidence and then coming back to earth.
Second down. Nunez stands in the pocket, throws, and it's out of bounds into the Stanford sideline. And let's get a game break. Back to Los Angeles, and here's Patrick O'Neill.
Greg taking it back to Gainesville. Number 4 LSU, number 10 Florida. Finally a touchdown for the Gators, capping off an 8-play, 85-yard drive. Mike Gillisley, 12 yards and a touchdown, making it 7-6 Gators. But the Tigers are driving. We'll keep you updated. Craig and Joel.
One of the more underrated units in the country is Florida's defense. They're probably equally as stout and tough as the LSU defense. So what a matchup going on right now there.
Battle of unbeatens. Under 12 minutes of play here. A shootout. Nunez, good protection out the middle of the field. And the ball on the hands of Montgomery. It comes out. Arizona recovers at the 45-yard line. There's the turnover that we talked about.
You mentioned it, and Montgomery puts the ball on the turf. The official has already signaled Montgomery is out of the pile. And another signal. Arizona ball, plus territory at the 45. My goodness, what a huge play. Watch Nunez step up, and he finally finds him late over the middle. Good pass, good catch, but then the ball's just in one arm. And he's being drug around by that defense. The ball is stripped, it's on the ground, and Arizona with the biggest play defensively of the day, Craig.
Now the question, what will Arizona do with the football? Up by a count of 41-34. We'll start at the 45 after the fumble. Ball carrier is Kadeem Carey, who will not go down. Guess it'll push from his teammates to the 41-yard line.
Craig, you said it. You know, the one mistake is this game when it's back and forth. The one mistake gets magnified. We just saw it from Stanford. Will their defense be able to bail out Ty Montgomery and hold Arizona? Even if they hold him to a field goal attempt, that'd be a huge success for this defense.
It's not been able to do so thus far in this second half. Last snap, taken down. Ball batted down, and it's incomplete. Ben Gardner, that is, at 6'4", tipped that pass.
Now the biggest play so far in the day, 3rd and 6. Stanford's defense has been shredded for 557 yards. We still got basically 11 minutes in the 4th quarter. Will they get off the field? Expect some pressure.
Blitz to the flat, the screen. One miss and another. Kadeem Carey. First down inside the 20-yard line.
Here's Carey. They're just going to run the screen. It's the blitz from Stanford, just as we expected, against man-to-man coverage. And when the linebacker, A.J. Tarpley, is unable to get Carey down, he was the man-to-man player, and it's off to the races. Huge conversion for the Wildcats.
Well, the key play, the fact that Kadeem Carey ran through the tackle of Jordan Richards, the strong safety. It's first down at 10 at the 17-yard line. Ball carrier again. Carey that had no answer for number 25 this afternoon.
The depth in this league is just astounding. Kadeem Carey, no one's talked about him all year. Petro says he's the most underrated player in the conference, and now I'm completely sold. He is the most underrated player in the entire Pac-12. He's been fantastic today.
Plays the Pac-12 and touchdowns. Look at the ball again. This time Stanford finds him and drops him at the 9. Carey came in averaging 107 yards a game. 5.5 yards per carry. Against Oregon State in that loss, he carried it 17 times, over 115 yards and 2 touchdowns. And today, he's a workhorse.
Totogi in the ball game, the fullback. Will they give it to Kadeem Carey? He's carried them all second half.
Third down and a long one. They go up top. Touchdown, Terrence Miller. Single coverage. And Scott able to put it on the hands of Miller.
What a play. Because that's good coverage from Wayne Lyons.
Terrence Miller makes it a 47-34 game with a PAT to come. The PAT by Bonanno, and Arizona has stunned his homecoming crowd. 9 minutes to play. Let's check today's 4-game summary. It's a 48-34 ball game. Arizona with the lead. 9 lead changes, Joel. 93 total plays thus far for Arizona. And Stanford, how about they haven't lost 2 in a row since 09?
Well, they're in a dogfight right now. 48-34, 93 snaps. Stanford has been just completely unable to get themselves off the field defensively. Even when they do get into third down situations, they can't stop Arizona.
Montgomery, 1 yard deep. Has a seam, takes it 30, breaks it 35. Flag is out. 50. Montgomery at the 40, still on his feet, but a flag back at the 35-yard line. Oh, so electrifying. The reason why he's ranked number 4 in the country in kick returns.
Looked like there was a second flag late. Yeah, it's laying right by the football where it's spotted down at the 32-yard line. The flag on the Stanford side of the 50. One looked like it was going to be some sort of hold, but the discussion now is that there was 2 flags. The second one was thrown kind of with the timing that you would think it was something against Arizona, but
now Jack Wood is huddled with his officials, and we'll get the call.
There are fouls by both teams. During the return, holding. Number 24 of the return team. 10-yard penalty will be enforced from the spot of the foul. After the play, personal foul. Number 14 of the kicking team. That penalty will also be enforced. 15 yards, first down.
now they're both enforced because one's a live ball foul, one's a dead ball foul. Look to your left side of your screen, number 24. You see the player go down to the ground. Very tough to see. And then at the end, here's the push to the face at the very end, right there into the face of Ty Montgomery. That drew the second flag. But again, one live ball foul, one dead ball foul. That's why you saw both of them being enforced and stepped off. Stanford ball at the 40.
Plenty of time for the Cardinal. Down by 14. 9:03 remaining. Nunes, three-step drop. Pressure in the pocket, collapses, he tucks and runs. And wrapped up after a 2-yard gain. Jake Fisher has been shaken twice today, is back on the field and makes the stop. The middle linebacker. Got an injured player down.
Stanford's going to have to recover because Arizona got the first huge break of this game off Ty Montgomery's fumble in the last series. They jump on it, and then they took advantage on 3rd and 6. A quick screen pass out to the left side, and Kadeem Carey takes it all the way inside the 20, setting up the fade to Terrence Miller. Beautifully thrown ball from Matt Scott to give them a 14-point lead. Arizona taking advantage of that huge misstep by Ty Montgomery, now with the 14-point lead in the 4th.
You break it down by quarters, you saw the slow start by Arizona, then it's just been high throttle since, and Stanford has put up Been outscored 15-0 here in quarter number 4 with 8:45 to go. 48-34 ball game. Over the middle, tied up. Ertz wanted the flag. There is not one on the field at the 45.
It seems like everything in this game has been equal except for the execution of the two quarterbacks. And Stanford has had to try to create that execution for Josh Nunez with their tight ends, whereas Matt Scott, I mean, he's been unbelievable. He's 43 of 63 for 484 and 3 touchdowns, but Stanford hasn't gotten that execution out of their quarterback, and that's why they're struggling right now.
That fumble didn't hurt, or help, it hurt. Nunez in the pocket, rolls across the middle of the field. Ball's out again after the catch. Now they're going to wave it off, incomplete.
And Nunez finally steps up and throws that strike across the middle, and Petro's wide receiver play continues to be an issue. If they're not throwing to the tight ends, they're not getting any execution.
And it was really the same way with Andrew Luck as the starter. I mean, they had Griffin, Ryan Whalen, no relation, but those guys weren't the most productive receivers. It's always been the tight ends. Colby Fleener comes to mind, and we're seeing Toilolo and Ertz do their thing. These wide receivers have been a problem for the Cardinals.
Petros, that ball was right on target, by the way, to Terrell, number 4.
It was a good throw. You're exactly right.
And now we've got a timeout. Stanford came out to line up for the punt. You heard the chorus of boos rain out, down 14.
They're going to review this.
And so the review's underway. Let's go back to Los Angeles. Mike Pereira with an eagle's eye view. What's your take on this call?
Well, they ruled incomplete pass on the field, but they're reviewing now to see if it's a catch and a fumble, which I actually think it is. And they don't. The college rule book does not really have the expanded definition of the NFL to maintain possession of the ball long enough to perform an act common to the game. That's not in that book. It's more, did you complete the catch with 1 foot clearly on the ground? And I think he did here and turned upfield. Stanford clearly recovers the ball, so I think they'll reverse this to a completion and a fumble and a recovery by Stanford, who will then get the game.
So they'll give Mike the continuation of the play. They're saying that if that would have been ruled a fumble, that Terrell was there to recover it there with the left arm.
After review,
right.
the pass was complete at the 42-yard line. First down, Stanford.
Mike, he didn't give us the rest of the explanation. That had to be complete and then fumbled and recovered. It's not just complete. Clearly, it wasn't just complete.
Yeah, right. So you can take an incomplete pass ruling and switch it to complete if there is a clear recovery after the ball hits the ground, which there was, because the Stanford player recovered his own fumble, so that's why he gets the ball.
All right, Mike, thanks for your insight. And Stanford's drive continues at the 42-yard line of Arizona. Plenty of time to throw. The Cardinal find a seam, and Nunez drills that ball into Terrell, who makes the catch. And they're going to move the chains again. Now, Stanford finding a little life here. Plenty of time. Clock running up on 8 minutes to go.
See all the Arizona players. You see them running down the screen with the tight ends to the middle of the field. It's because of the production of those two great tight ends. It's going to leave the outside open for the wide receivers. They have to step up late in this game.
They'll take the snap from the 28-yard line. Low snap. Nunez in traffic. Finds a man. Ty Montgomery wiggles free at the 20-yard line, a pickup of 8.
And Petros, it's clear now the wide receivers are the ones that's going to have to step up because of the coverage being implemented on those tight ends. They're being bracket coverage on the middle. That means double teamed in the middle of the field, leaving one-on-one coverage for the wide receivers.
And right now, Montgomery a little shaken up, but right on cue, Joel. There comes the Stanford wide receivers making some plays. They caught a bit of a break with the Terrell call and him recovering his own fumble. But this is uncharted territory for Nunez. Stephon Taylor has not really had any kind of impact since he went into the locker room. He came back out and he's playing, but really no impact in the game. So you wonder right now, does Nunez have the confidence to lead a fourth quarter comeback with about 8 minutes left at home against a feisty Arizona team who's got an offense that's clicking beautifully.
Well, got a big one coming up. It's a doubleheader day here on Fox. And for a preview of West Virginia, Texas, let's go back to L.A. and Patrick.
All right, Craig, you're absolutely right. From one great game to another, West Virginia, Texas, a good-looking Longhorns quarterback, David Ash, Mr. Efficiency, 10 TDs, 1 interception. This game in Austin, big question, how's Geno Smith going to handle, well, a little defense tonight? Gus and Charles with the call on Fox. Back to Craig and Joel.
All right, Patrick, looking forward to that game.
The most overlooked part of that game is the fact that Texas can score points.
Yes.
I mean, David Ash is playing well, and West Virginia's defense, I'm going to say these numbers again. They gave up last week 700 yards of offense and 63 points to Baylor. So I think Texas has got the advantage tonight.
Second down, call it 2. As Dumas drops back, throws up top. Incomplete as he looked like Ertz got turned around, trying to recover, and it's incomplete. Grandin, the free safety on coverage on that tight end.
Here comes Jake Fisher on the blitz, and he was the one putting pressure on Josh Nunez, didn't allow him to complete that throw. He threw it well before he wanted to, and that's why Ertz was turned around in the backfield, and there was actually an opportunity there for Grandin to come away with an interception.
How about over 1,000 total yards on this one today? 598 for Arizona. And 483 for Stanford. They went for a touchdown out the way as they went for the big fella, Toilolo.
This has to be 4-down territory for Stanford to throw it on 3rd and short when the identity of this team is toughness, strength, and running the ball. Clearly, they were going to go for it on 4th down, which they are, just out of the reach of Toilolo. Now, this is basically the game with Arizona playing as well as they played on offense. And here comes the big package for Arizona, the big, fresh defensive lineman coming in the ball game. 4th and short, game on the line.
This season, 2 of 4 on 4th down conversions. They need 2 yards to keep this drive alive, and the officials blow it dead.
Timeout.
On a
Stanford.
timeout call by Stanford.
Their second charge timeout of the half.
So they burn a timeout. And both teams will make their way to the sideline. 4th down coming when we roll back to Stanford on Fox. Fox College Football is sponsored by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, everything possible. Here we go, 4th and 2. Could decide the outcome of this game between Arizona and Stanford. Cardinal down by 14. They need 2 yards. They're at the 20-yard line. The eyes of Josh Nunez in the gun. Right alongside is Stephon Taylor. Over the throw. They do. Slant. Inside. Toilolo at the 1-yard line, and the Cardinal in business. 1st and goal.
Man-to-man with the blitz, leaving the 6'8" tight end 1-on-1 on the outside with Shaquille Richardson. And Toilolo wins the battle. What a throw, putting the game on the line on the right shoulder of Josh Nunez, and he comes through for you. Levine Toilolo 5 for 141.
And a touchdown, 28 yards on average. Here's the keeper, touchdown. Nunez! And Stanford will not go away.
Power option. Nunez finds a crease and takes it for the touchdown. What an answer from Stanford. Crucial.
Extra point on its way off the foot of Williamson. Good snap, hold, the kick is up and good. What do you know? 48-41, Arizona on Fox. It's a homecoming day at Stanford. It's a shootout, 48-41 with 6:34 remaining. Can Stanford shut down Arizona to get the ball back? 6:34 to go.
They've got to think about just dropping 8 in coverage and trying to force Arizona to earn their way down the field defensively, because they're going to have to do something other than what they have been doing, and then a kick out of bounds.
Oh boy.
My goodness.
You're going to get the ball. Arizona at the 35-yard line. I think that's one of the toughest penalties
Well, we didn't play at the 35-yard
in the college
line.
game. If you can't get the ball off the tee, what a penalty that is. You're at the 35-yard line. Your opponent is set to line it up, and they're up by 7. Make sure you stay tuned. AT&T postgame show coming up. West Virginia, Texas, they'll preview it. I'm looking forward to that one as well. Doubleheader day here on Fox. LSU takes on Florida. We'll update that game in the Swamp. The Stanford crowd trying to get the homecoming fans on their feet. It's a 7-point game with just over 6.5 to play. They need a stop against Arizona. And they get one as they stuff the middle. Nowhere to run for Kadeem Carey. And he has run 3 throughout this ball game.
And Shane Scove, one of their emotional leaders, comes up with a huge first down stop. He's your linebacker right here. Watch him fill the hole and stuff Kadeem Carey. One of the first times they've been able to really stop him on first down all day long.
Kadeem Carey, 26 carries, 120 yards, over 4.5 yards a touch. No gain, second down. Cardinals no blitz. They come. The ball is tipped and batted down. That's an incomplete pass. That stops the clock. 3:10. That's like running a timeout. You get a free one. 5:57 to go.
Ben Gardner gets his mitts up to stop that pass, and Rich Rodriguez has a huge decision to make. Who gets the ball? Austin Hill at the bottom of your screen. Dan Buckner along with them, both at the bottom of your screen.
Let's find out. Matt Scott sets up in the gun. 2-step drop, fires it far side and overthrows. Slavin was the intended receiver, and Stanford gets the hold. 3 and out, a rare 3 and out for Arizona in this ball game.
2 of the more critical plays in this game. All of a sudden, you've said the name Tyler Slavin. He hasn't done much the entire game. Only 1 catch for 13 yards. There's a guy named Dan Buckner and Austin Hill that have been the absolute engines of this offense all day long. They've got to see the ball on that 3rd down.
Kyle Nugent with the punt. Gets it away. Terrell, 15-yard line. Found the seam, breaks a tackle, but is tripped up at the 21-yard line. Let's get another game break. LSU, Florida. Patrick's got the insight.
Running back for the Gators, Mike Gillisley, having a great game, 117 yards and 2 touchdowns. Gators doing it on the ground in the Swamp. They lead 14-6 over LSU. I know they're at home, but if the Gators win this one, you have to call this one an upset. Craig and Joel.
Can't argue that.
No, not, Will Muschamp's done a heck of a job. They've won a couple of really quality games in hostile environments, including Texas A&M's SEC opener. That was a tough position to put Florida in. They went in there and got a win over Kevin Sumlin's group, but we got a good one here. Josh Nunez, he's got the game in his grasp with 6 minutes left.
Stephon Taylor trying to stutter step out of traffic, knocked down to the 21 by Bondurant. Got a nice game. Tremaine Bondurant, number 21, all over the field this afternoon.
We haven't really seen the downhill run game from Stanford in the second half. We've seen Nunez in the shotgun quite a bit. They've basically been playing Arizona's game, and we're 1 score away from tying this ball game.
Quick carry, middle of the field, on the hands of Earth, the tight end to the 31-yard line. Very close to a first down.
Petros, earlier today you asked me, how does a quarterback build confidence? This is it. This is the situation. Josh Nunez has the game on his right shoulder right now. Can he be successful? Will he be successful?
Well, we're watching him grow up right now and making this team his own. People are not going to forget about Andrew Luck very quickly, just like they didn't forget about Toby Gerhart quickly, but Nunez is doing it.
This time he goes under center. They do move the chains fresh down to the 31-yard line. Play action. Nunez steps in the pocket over the top in double coverage. Jump ball incomplete. Rashad Patterson, the intended receiver. They threw into double coverage. And there's a flag back inside the 30-yard line. That usually means you're going the other way on an offensive hold.
That Stanford group backing up a little bit. A couple of flags out. It will be a hold against Stanford.
Holding, offense, number 64. 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
That's huge penalty.
Yeah, that's the captain on that front line, the center, Sam Schwartzstein.
Banking to his right, and you see the left hand get up there and takes the defensive lineman all the way to the ground. A pretty clear hold, an easy call for the official, and now 1st and 20 for Stanford.
Out of bounds at the 30-yard line. That stops the clock. 4:33 to go.
Might be wondering why in the world would they hand the ball off then? Well, they just got 10 yards. You always get half of it back. You hear me say it all the time. Key block right here from Hewitt. Gets the man onto the ground. And Seal has the opportunity then to get outside and to the boundary to stop the clock after getting back to a 2nd and 11.
Yeah, Seal comes out. Taylor back in the lineup alongside Nunes. Pedals back, looks across the middle of the field. Back on the hands of Patterson. 2 plays, just when you think, Joel, Stanford in big trouble. They move the chains and a first down at the 47.
And they found something with these deep in cuts, the 20-yard in cuts from the outside wide receivers. And Rashad Patterson on that play gives his body to the quarterback. A very good route of settling down in that zone and allowing the easy completion.
Nunes now at 344 yards passing, a high stepping Stephon Taylor. He'll pick up 2 to midfield.
The clock still not a factor. Not with the clock stopping with first downs in college football. They still have 1 timeout left, so they can run the ball still. Everything at Pep Hamilton's disposal as the Andrew Luck director of offense.
Clock nearly a 3.5 to play.
Got to call him by his right title.
That's right. That is how it's listed. 1 timeout for Stanford, 3 if Arizona would need them down the stretch at midfield. It's a 7-point game and a shootout on homecoming at Stanford. Pedaling back, Nunes, pressure, pocket collapses, needs help, finds it. The ball is out, incomplete.
Oh, they got fortunate there. First of all, throwing with a defender around your legs, never a good idea. Then that was perilously close to being a backwards pass, which could have ended up being a fumble and Arizona ball. I thought Josh Nunes got away with one there. Now he's got to make a play, and guess who comes back on the field? Levine and Toilolo. When they needed to play, it's been big number 11, the 6'8" tight end.
He's going to line up top of your screen. And now the defense of Arizona will whistle a timeout. Timeout, Wildcats.
Josh Nunes has grown up right before our eyes. You know, he's made some mistakes today, made some poor throws, but when they needed the big completion, he's been right there, and the tight ends have been right there. A couple of rushing touchdowns for Nunes today, and he's been very good at the check game. Will he be able to have another one in him down the stretch? 20 of 31 for 343 and 2 touchdowns. This is one of those games, as Petros was talking about, for a quarterback to develop confidence, he's got to be the one that gets it done for his offense, and Nunes has been that guy today for the Cardinals.
And Petros, we had a great chat with the Stanford coaches. There was talk about a quarterback controversy. Brett Nottingham maybe should be the guy. It was hands down, Petros, Josh Nunes is the guy.
And it's very interesting because Brett Nottingham was warming up against Washington last week. They didn't go to him. They're not going to put the sheriff in here. Nunes is their guy.
3rd down. At midfield from the gun. Nunes on the got room to run. Cuts back. 35 and out of bounds. Stopped the clock with 3:03 to go.
Nunes cut back on the scramble. You almost never see it from a quarterback to go back towards the middle of the field, but it pays dividends. Number 2, Flowers, falls down, and Nunez scampers for the first down.
Fresh downs at the 34. From the eye. Hand it off. Here comes Taylor up the middle. Put a hand down and got an extra yard. A pickup of 8.
Now that's Stanford football on first down, and now is when you might see a nice big play-action pass. You've got Toilolo who's going to line up as the top tight end. Hewitt's in the ballgame as the fullback.
111 yards on the ground for Taylor. Gets the handoff, to the middle, and a first down to the 21. The clock will stop as they set the chains. 2:20 to go.
What a series. What a series from Nunez. He's still raw. I mean, you can tell he's still very inexperienced. But boy, he has battled his butt off here today and put his team in position to win this game.
Fresh downs, 22-yard line. Nunez sets and throws. Taylor over the top. Off the hands of Toilolo.
Perfect ball from Nunez. I thought Toilolo should have grabbed that one. Right over his left shoulder. The coverage was not there for Toilolo. He had the opportunity, didn't bring it in.
Well, they got the isolation, they got the man coverage, but he couldn't take advantage. 2 wide receivers, top of your screen, alongside Nunez is Taylor. On second down. Little delay. Taylor stacked up after a 2-yard game to the 20-yard line. Make sure you stay tuned. Immediately after our game, the AT&T Fox College Saturday Game Break Show will follow us. Preview, of course, West Virginia, Texas. That's coming up on our second game of our doubleheader. And more highlights, LSU, Florida, down in the swamp. Stay tuned. Third down, Nunez in the pocket over the top. Again through the hands of Toilolo.
And McKnight had the opportunity for the interception. Would have ended the game. And now it's 4th down. It's 4th down territory. They got to score a touchdown. Stanford will take their last time out. Nunez twice now is putting the ball in position for Toilolo to make plays. Just unable to bring it down for the big man, 6'8".
It is 4th and 8. You can't keep the chains moving. What's your call?
Last time they had a 4th down, they split Toilolo to the top of the formation. Stanford played cover 0 blitz, and they created a one-on-one and they threw a slant to Toilolo. I don't think Arizona is going to do that again because of that play, which means that you're going to have to attack the interior of the defense, the middle of the field, with those 2 tight ends. I want Ertz on the under, Toilolo on the over. They'll play on the same side of the formation.
No timeouts remaining. 4th down and 8. Ball game on the line. Stanford down 7. Nunez over the middle. Wide open. Hands it. The tight end comes through. 1st and goal at the 4-yard line.
Here's Toilolo. He's going to come across the screen, clearing it out for Ertz. That's exactly what I was talking about. It's just the opposite guys. Toilolo comes underneath and clears it out, opens up the zone in the middle of the field, and there's Zach Ertz. That's what Nunez wanted to do, was play in the middle of the field, and he got the look that he wanted. Now inside the 5, 1st down.
And it inside, 1 minute to play. Behind Nunez is Stephon Taylor. Nunez. Touchdown, Stanford.
It don't get much better than that from Josh Nunez. And David Shaw says, we play with power.
You got to have confidence, he told us, at play for the Stanford Cardinal. And that was a confident Josh Nunez who just rolled in. Now the extra point to tie it. Williamson up and good, and we're tied at 48.
it doesn't get much better than that from Josh Nunez. I'm telling you, as a young kid, to step up on a 4th down, and that'll be our Reese's perfect play in today's ball game. 4th down, clear it out for the big guy, 6'6" tight end Ertz, and he put that ball on the money. I'm telling you, that is big-time stuff from Josh Nunez. People talking about maybe he should be benched and replace him, and what does he do? He comes out and has the best day of his career, 360 yards passing, 3 TD runs, 2 through the air. That's confidence.
Over 800 yards of passing offense in this ball game between the Cardinal and the Wildcats. Stanford kicks it away. Under a minute left in this one. At the 5-yard line, Jennings. He spins out the tackle. Takes a seat down inside the 20 at the 17.
You know, you go look back in this game and you think about the breaks that were created. Well, this was back in the 2nd quarter. They got a field goal after there should have been a fumble call. They ruled that an incomplete pass, and now we're sitting here under a minute in a tie ball game. Can Arizona take advantage of even that break now? 41 seconds is a lot of time with 2 timeouts and the clock stopping after 1st downs for a high-powered offense.
So here we go. Matt Scott has had a brilliant day. Hands it off. In the middle is Carey. I'm surprised they run it up the middle.
Well, I have no idea. Now they've got to burn a timeout, possibly, and the clock is just going to continue to run. Complete mismanagement by Rich Rodriguez in Arizona.
Or is he settling for overtime?
41 seconds and 2 timeouts is a lot of time for Matt Scott.
Again, the handoff up the middle. Well, I'm surprised like you to the 26. No timeout shot. He's going to leave 2 up on the board as the clock winds down.
Unbelievable.
Regulation has just come to an end. We're tied at 48. 48 all, Arizona, Stanford.
I got to regroup. I thought we were going to at least see Matt Scott get a chance. Remember, Matt Scott has thrown for 484 yards on the day. Stanford hasn't really stopped Arizona's offense at all. So an interesting decision by Rich Rodriguez to not let his quarterback, Matt Scott, take a shot down the field at least a couple of times. All they needed was a field goal. Now we got to go to overtime. Here are the rules. Teams alternate possession starting on the opponent's 25-yard line. 2-point conversions, of course, must be tried beginning in the 3rd overtime. First to lead after a completed round wins it. This is it. And for my sake, and Petros, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. If you're a road team and you don't have the momentum, you never just play for overtime.
No, I agree with that. It's going to be interesting.
We'll walk you out to the middle of the field for the coin toss. Hand in hand, arm in arm.
All right. I think by now most all of us are familiar with overtime. The most important thing that you know is that your options are going to be different on this coin toss. If you win the toss, you'll have the option of choosing whether you want to be on offense, defense, or the end of the field at which you wish to play the first overtime period. The loser of the coin toss will get the remaining option. Are we clear on what the choices will be? Okay, Arizona, you're the visiting team. You'll call the coin. Heads and tails. What's your call?
Tails.
He's called tails. Then it is heads. You've won. Offense, defense. Stanford will go on defense. Which end of the field would you like to play at? We'll play at that end. Arizona, come stand over here.
What is that?
Drama with a capital D. Overtime next on Fox. Well, a game of big plays and hard hits has taken us to overtime, 48-48. It had to go to overtime. It had to.
It did. These two teams, man, they so hard. 3-3 all time. 3-5 for Arizona all time.
They beat Toledo earlier
this year. This is not new for them.
Well, the overtime rule states they'll start at the 25-yard line, and Arizona will have the football. On the toss. They've had a lot of momentum here in the second half. Led by Matt Scott, who's in the gun. Here we go. Overtime it is. They put it on the hands of Austin Hill, who's had a terrific game. He'll make his way to the 18-yard line.
Often in overtime, it comes down to the kicking game. John Bonanno, the kicker for Arizona, has struggled this year, while Jordan Williamson has had his troubles himself for the Stanford Cardinal. Of course, Williamson was the kicker who missed the field goal last year in the Fiesta Bowl against Oklahoma State.
Well, he missed 3 straight, Bonanno, but he's made 2 in a row today. Second down on the ground, right up the gut. And Kadeem Carey takes the Cardinal to the 13-yard line.
And a first down for Matt Scott in Arizona. Stanford has just had to commit so many resources to stopping Dan Buckner and Austin Hill, the 2 wide receivers. It's allowed Kadeem Carey to really own the middle of the field.
4 wide receivers set. Carey alongside Scott as he has been most of the afternoon. Stanford showing blitz on the edge. Play action, slingshot far side. Off the hands. And it's caught by Richard Morrison. One of the slot backs. We've seen a lot of Johnny Jackson and Austin Hill today.
And how about Richards with the open field tackle, a crucial open field tackle on first down, getting the ball carrier down to the ground.
Now second down on the far hash. Ball tipped and complete. And that will bring up a 3rd down.
Oh, what a huge down. Stanford has been unable to make a play on 3rd down. Their defense has been on the field for 102 plays. Can they make a stop on 103?
3rd down, 14-yard line. In overtime, Scott from the gun. Looks over the middle of the field again. The ball is batted. And Stanford has the interception at the 6-yard line.
And they get the play that they need on snap 103 of the day. Chase Thomas, the All-American, the captain, comes up with it. That was Henry Anderson, number 91, who got his hand on it. Chase Thomas there to get the interception, and Stanford only needs a field goal to win this game.
And for the 15th straight game, Stanford's D scores a takeaway. And now the Cardinal will start at the 25-yard line.
Yeah, you're going to see Stephon Taylor. And probably after that, Williamson.
Field goals coming in 7 of 11. They hand the ball off to Stephon Taylor, who is taken down by a shoestring at the 22.
You're not going to see a pass on this series. There is absolutely no reason to. David Shaw, he told us he trusts his kicker. I know he's had a hard time. He's hit some big field goals in his career, but this is going to be Taylor until they have to run. Jordan Williamson on the field.
Under center goes Nunes. On second down, coming 7. We'll hand it off up the middle. Stephon Taylor. See ya! Touchdown! Stanford takes it in overtime!
Arizona sold out to try to stop the run. And Stephon Taylor finds himself in the end zone, and David Shaw and the Cardinal win it in overtime.
They wipe away that loss to Washington, 17-13. And now next up, Notre Dame. Arizona, this ball club is young. Offensive-minded, but could not hang on to get the win on the road. Downstairs we go. Petros with the head coach, David Shaw.
Coach, talk about the character of your team, overtime victory, and your quarterback, Josh Nunez, he grew up today.
I think he did. He went through a lot last week. He did not play well. He came back with a mindset that he was going to play his best football today, and he did that.
Congratulations, Coach. Great victory.
Hey, just another game in the Pac-12, right?
Yeah, that's how it is. Thank you. Craig?
All right, thank you, Petros. Won a game. Stanford survives in overtime. 54-48 for Joe Platt. Petros Papadakis, our entire Fox crew. I'm Greg Bolerjack saying so long from Stanford. Next up, we take you to Austin, West Virginia, and Texas on Fox.